Thank you so much for watching. Thank you. Have you subscribed? Yes, you. Have you subscribed? You. Yeah, before you go, click. It's free. Click. Just that's it. Have you subscribed? You're laughing. Have you subscribed? Have you subscribed? Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Hey, madam, thank you so much. I can see you. We have to get to 100,000 subscribers. By the end of the year, how are we going to do that if you don't subscribe? Yes, you. Yes, you're about to click off. Why? Have you subscribed? It's free. If you don't, ask your son, ask your daughter how to. Just one click. Thank you. Thank you. I see you. Aha. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I'll see you tomorrow.
Bound in freedom, peace, and unity. Hey, that's so. Oh, yeah. Alright, so compatriots, Nigeria call obey to serve our fatherland with love and strength and faith. The labor of our heroes past shall never be in vain. To serve without our might, one nation bound in freedom, in freedom, in freedom, peace and unity. Arise, my people, arise, my
Good morning, good evening, everyone. This is your girl, Tope O, saying hi. Thank you so much for joining us today. Hope you all had a beautiful week. We hope everyone is doing well and in good health. We're thankful to God for seeing yet another day. Thanks again for joining us. Please come in today with an open mind. Be respectful as always, and enjoy the show. Welcome, Adama. Welcome, Electricity. Righteous Man, welcome.
Thank you very much. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thanks for joining this evening, the third segment broadcast for today. And like Tope said, you're welcome to the show. Have an open mind. We have a lot of things to talk about, interesting issues. Mr. Tony Ho, I saw you were backstage, but you left. So when you come back on, just turn off your camera, then I'll bring you in onto the floor, onto the platform. Again, thank you for joining. Adama, the floor is yours, please. Thank you. Okay.
Greetings, everyone. Greetings, everyone. Thank you for joining us today in today's segment. I hope you guys are looking forward to today's segment. We have some interesting topics that we're going to be talking about. So welcome to the show. Relax, enjoy. Thank you.
Just to put some of the topics out there, the main topic is earth tourism. Does Nigeria have one? We also have other topics. We'll be talking about deadbeat fathers. We also talk about, we'll play some videos for us to watch. So there are about 5 issues or 6 issues we're going to talk about that are very interesting. We time permitting, we will delve into the bill being passed in respect to building a university and naming it after Tinubu to teach Nigerian languages. It's funny. So, ladies, when you're ready, you tell me how to proceed in respect to the videos, please. Thank you very much.
Electricity will have you please play the first clip so we can delve into the conversation. Thank you.
All right. Thanks.
Hi guys, sorry that I'm shouting, but there is music in the background. But I'm here tonight with my father, the Minister of Health, Alhaji Ali Pate. Daddy, thank you so much for granting me an audience. Real quick, Daddy, as the Health Minister, do you receive all your medical treatments in Nigeria?
Yes, I do. And I believe that we're building Nigeria's healthcare system to be one that Nigerians can feel comfortable, that they will be receiving safe and effective services. We have begun an investment to establish 6 cancer centers in each of the geopolitical zones. We have many gaps, but we're working hard to ensure that we minimize those gaps and we continue to improve, to rebuild Nigeria's healthcare system that we can be all proud of.
So Daddy, not even for checkup, you don't come abroad for anything, all your treatment is done in Nigeria?
I do my best to eat well. I try to exercise, and so far, thank God, I am healthy.
So that is a yes. All your medical treatment.
My doctor is in Abuja. I can give you his name, his address, but I will not do it here.
That is very impressive.
Yes.
Hopefully other government officials can emulate you. But real quick, Daddy, as the Health Minister, does it bother you at all? Do you ever feel like you failed as the Health Minister when the President keeps going abroad for treatment every few months, including for something as simple as medical checkup, just regular checkup? Does it ever bother you as the Health Minister?
Adiola, I think you are simplifying a very complex issue of tourism. There are many kinds of tourism. People travel all over the world for education, for conference tourism, for religious tourism, for medical tourism, for all kinds of tourism. Health tourism is not a phenomenon that is limited to Nigeria or Africa. There are people who leave the United States and go to East Asia to get medical care. There are people who leave the United Kingdom and go to Africa for medical care. And there are Nigerians who choose, because of all kinds of reasons, to go abroad for medical care. The question you should be asking is, how is our healthcare system addressing the basic needs of our population? Immunizing kids, protecting women from childbirth so they deliver safely, delivering basic treatments of things like malaria, and for higher levels of service, provide the option for those who choose to have their services in Nigeria to have high quality services delivered in Nigeria. That is what we are trying to do. So the red herring of really targeting medical tourism, I think it's a misguided
So Daddy, it doesn't bother you that the President is going out. It bothers the rest of us that he's going abroad for treatment. It doesn't bother you.
There's $2 billion that Nigerians spend in outbound medical tourism. Private individual, public individual, everybody.
So, but the President is supposed to lead by example.
Yes, I'm telling you this, that our effort is to ensure that the $2 billion in outbound medical tourism is retained in Nigeria. When people go abroad, they go to private facilities, not public facilities. When people go to the UK as private individuals, they take private facilities. So how do we stand up private facilities also in Nigeria that can deliver the service? And how do we guarantee that every Nigerian should have access to the most basic healthcare available.
So are you saying that someday people from all over the world will be coming to Nigeria for medical treatment as well?
As we speak, there are many leaders and people from the Africa region who come to Nigeria for medical treatment.
Really?
Yes, they are.
So what will it take for our president to see what these people see in Nigerian health sector?
You are too impersonalizing it with just one individual. The phenomenon of medical tourism,
president of the country.
The phenomenon of medical tourism is a global phenomenon, and you cannot limit it just one individual. What we are saying and what President Tinubu is trying to do is to transform Nigerian healthcare system so it works for everyone.
Okay.
To save lives, to reduce physical and financial
I'll ask
pain.
my next question, but just so you know, my conclusion is you have never talked to the president about the importance of him fixing the health sector of the country so that he can. Have you ever talked to the president that as the #1 citizen, sir, you should be receiving treatment in your country? This is what we need to do.
I can just tell you straight up that in the last 24 years, Nigeria has not seen a precedent that is.
All right. I will yield the floor to the ladies. I don't want to start with my own views on this matter, so that ladies, the floor is yours. For those of you who have joined Righteous Man, the Blackstone forefather, thanks for joining. Topan Adama, the floor is yours. Thank you.
So my take on this, I think this is the most in the last over 1 year that Dr. Pate has talked the most. This is the most I've seen in this interview. I haven't seen any performance on his end. I don't live in Nigeria, but I still have family that live there, and they patronize the government hospitals. I haven't seen anything new or better services, medical services in the last 1 year. I haven't seen any impact, any new initiative programs to make the medical health sector better in Nigeria in the last 1 year. I simply just believe this interview, his response throughout was just for the optics. He's trying to keep his job. I interpret everything as lies. He's not being realistic, claiming that he does his medicals in Nigeria, his doctor is in Abuja and all that. It's a shame. It's a shame that our government officials, the president, will have to go abroad using taxpayers' money to fund their own medical situation and can't even fix the health sector. Buhari was there before Tinubu. I'm sure he spent more than half of his 8 years abroad for medical checkup. And that didn't even push him to have the conscience to try and fix the health sector in Nigeria. Imagine having functioning hospitals in each region of the country. Are you saying they couldn't have been able to achieve that in 8 years? That's all I have to say for now.
Thank you. Thank you. You see, thank you, KJ, for joining. I'll start with Righteous Man, but before I say this, it's how long are the citizens will continue to? How long are we going to continue to accept this? To me, it's an outright insult. And when I mean outright insult is that my daughter, she's 25 now, and she was born in Lut. And as a then, the struggle for electricity back then to even get a good medical care. I remember fetching water because there was no light, so they couldn't pump water to the wards where she was born. I remember vividly having to fetch jerry cans of water and take it there. This is just an outright insult. Righteous Man, I'll start with you first. I don't know if Adama is still there. If Adama, are you there? If you're not there, I'll go to Righteous Man first. Righteous Man. Righteous Man, are you
good
there?
evening.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm here. Yeah, good evening from here, and good evening, every panelist. Yeah, it's a disgraceful thing, and I think that man was not sincere to himself, was not truthful to himself. Right now, the medical issue in Nigeria, or the health venues where Nigerians goes for treatment, are in shambles, absolutely in shambles. Medicare in Nigeria is as good as nothing. It's at the lowest point I've ever seen in my lifetime. Now, I was in a commercial bus today. Because of this fuel increase, I couldn't pick up fuel to go to the places I needed to go. So I boarded the commercial vehicle. And while we're discussing, you see, somehow this hardship is kind of open. God is using it to open the eyes of Nigerians. I am just telling you the truth of what I noticed today. In various buses I entered, the issue of Nigeria was a topic that everybody, irrespective of religion and tribe, were discussing. And a woman who came from Bandri is in Ajegule, was telling us of a fire break in their area that got some individuals burnt. And all the people that went to government-owned hospital, unfortunately, all of them lost their lives because those who took them there were asked to buy the syringe that would be used for whatever injection or whatever they want to give to them. And items that the hospital is supposed to provide were lacking. And before these individuals could rally around, because it was a bit late in the night to go and get those things, while all pharmaceutical shops and the chemist shops have closed, they were unable to get those drugs. And virtually all of them, she said about, is it 10 or thereabout? Yes. But an individual that was rushed to a private hospital, that woman was pregnant that got involved in this fire outbreak. She is still alive today, and she has delivered her baby. So it is a pitiful thing that our leaders are not taking the healthcare system in Nigeria serious. It is at a 0 point. If you go to general hospital owned by the government, you will be the one to buy the syringe. You will be the one to buy all things they listed for you. But when they come to television, they will tell you that things are free. It's never free.
Thank
So
you.
that is just my submission here.
I mean, we all at one point believed in Nigeria. So, like I said again, this is I can see the comments there. A lot of people are kind of pissed off with saying it's lying. And but one of the things he said is it's a foreign government, foreign officials. They come to Nigeria for treatment. For further, is that true? I believe you are next on the. You came in next before KJ. If you are there. Okay. KJ, I'll go to you for further. It's not there. KJ,
Okay.
could you,
Yes,
is that
I don't
true?
know
That
those who are
claim
saying it's not true. What are they saying is not true for? It's not true that what he's just said is not happening, because I just
that
dealt with this.
foreign countries, dignitaries or foreign officials come to Nigeria for medical treatment,
Which
and
of
why
them?
Nigerians themselves can't get medical treatment, good
I
medical
beg,
treatment?
where is that hospital that they come to? Where?
I'm surprised. So maybe Please tell us.
No, you see, that's the you know, you can see the man was a bit shy because he is used to dealing with Nigerian reporters who don't ask them and constantly get demand an answer from them. So he was a bit shocked that she did that pushback. You could see his face. He wasn't very happy with that. The truth remains that these people, just like someone had, Tokwe had earlier said, they just lie through their teeth because they think that nobody can hold them responsible. They have overpowered the Nigerian people. So whatever they say, people just swallow it. Whatever they say it is, that's what it is. And you see other people trying to repeat the same thing they've said to their fellow Nigerians or anybody who wants to, have a contrary opinion. They are taught to think the way government wants to think. And once you are saying something that does not align with what government wants the people to hear, they'll call your own misinformation. They'll send the police after you, and they probably lock you up, and nobody will hear about you any longer. The truth of the matter remains that even as I'm talking to you, I have a friend who lost someone in the Federal Medical Center because there was nothing they could, in fact, there was nothing to treat the person. In fact, I have a friend who's, just to get some form of treatment, they had to go and buy their own mattress to make sure that the person is treated. They bought everything that was required. I'm talking about Federal Medical Center. I'm not talking about a local hospital. And only because this person knows somebody that knows somebody who knows somebody. 3 weeks ago, I lost my former head of department. Yeah, about a month ago now. Professor Saint Bilikia. Okay? He was taking, when he got sick, kind of this sudden headache thing, where he was, which is Kefi, which is, somewhere in Akwanga. The hospital there that is a federal medical center couldn't treat him. So they say, oh, this thing is something we cannot treat. Okay, take him to Gwagwalada Specialist Hospital. And at Gwagwalada Specialist Hospital, they were running helter skelter, trying to get what to do. Okay, and eventually the result of what you have today. What am I trying to say? These things are happening over time. The health of Nigerians are not being taken care of. Nobody cares. That's why you see majority of our people are resorting to, native form of treatment. If you have malaria, you go and look for dogoyaro tree. You wash it, you press a cup, you drink in the morning, you drink in the evening, just to try to treat yourself. Because you're not even sure that the medicine you're buying from the pharmacy are even working. Some months ago, I had a case where somebody was saying what they are buying is not treating them. They are treating themselves for typhoid, and all the medicine they seem to be buying wasn't working. And I said, ask the doctor, why is the medicine not working? The doctor said, well, what you are buying is a cheap one. If you want the one that will be effective, it will cost you about 3,000 naira. I said, ask them to direct you to where you can buy that one that will work. And that is how they got something that is working from their own pharmacy outside. So what am I saying in essence? These are things that they are indisputable. The Nigerian people are suffering it. But of course, life doesn't mean anything to anybody in Nigeria. I mean, especially when I mean anybody in Nigeria, the people in government who have the monopoly of violence and everything. It doesn't mean anything to them. If not, some of these things can be checked. Dora Kunyele was able to check these things when she was NAFDAC, chairwoman. Okay, and she did a lot to make sure that the pharmacy and at least the drug that they sell in Nigeria were authentic. Right now, it's a different ball game, and I don't know why anybody can argue with that. There's nothing to argue about. It's not every time that you have to find something contrary to say. The truth is, remain that we, the Nigerian people, are going through a process that is so difficult. It's unimaginable what is happening to people. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Ngosika, you are based in Nigeria. I mean, thanks for joining. I'll yield the floor to you to weigh in on this matter, please. Thank you.
Thank you, Pastor. My lovely ladies, I greet you. Gentlemen, I greet you.
Welcome.
It feels good to join you once again. So I'll be brief. I want to put my opinion in perspective, in a context rather. So when I saw that video, and you could see how uncomfortable Mr. Adola's question made the health minister. He was deflecting, and just going around in circles. Adiola, you're focusing on this. Oh, Adiola, he did not want to address the fact that a president, the man under whose administration he's serving, who he claimed was investing heavily in education, was going abroad for his treatment. But the aspect I want to come in from is the whole quote unquote health
tourism thing that he mentioned, that people go out of the country for medical tourism and it's not a new thing and blah blah blah. And that's where I want to come in. So I want to come in this way. Yes, I agree with him to some extent. Nigerians for the longest time, I'm just using Nigerians this time because I'm a Nigerian and this is about Nigeria, have been going outside the country for their health needs as a form of health tourism. I know of women that could afford the best medical.
Okay, I think we lost Ngozi.
Ngozi, I think we
Ngozi,
lost her.
yeah.
No, you
Okay,
can't hear me.
she's back.
We can hear you
Yeah,
now.
we
Lost you
can
for
hear
a
you now.
At what point did you stop hearing me? Oh my god, I think I was just going on and on.
People, Nigerians who go out for medical treatments. I think that was the
So
last thing
yeah,
you said.
so Nigerians go out for medical tourism for various reasons. I've seen women that could have afford the best kind of medical care in Nigeria here choose to have their kids abroad. We can argue the fact that they want second citizenship for their children, but that is all medical tourism, and that is where to the point, I agree with the minister up to. But where I have the problem is this thing we do as a people. We choose and pick what favors us. The minister was trying to say, yeah, people go out of the country for medical tourism, so it's no biggie. You can't tell somebody where they should see their doctor or what doctor they should see. It's a form. But the thing is, he refused to bring it home to the question Mr. Dollar was asking, which was concerning the president. That was my only problem with it. And do other countries come here for medical treatment? That must have been in donkey years, probably before I was born, not in recent time. I don't know any sensible person that will leave whatever part of the world they are coming from or other options out there and come to Nigeria for medical treatment. I don't know anybody that would do it in 2024. If you know, maybe I'm not saying it doesn't happen, but I don't know anyone that would do it. The medical tourism about Nigerians going out, especially when it concerns women to have their children outside, I agree with him to that point about medical tourism being an individual decision and nobody's business. But where I don't agree with him is that once it has to do with the head of state, it is not negotiable. It has to be here. There's too much at stake for our president to have his medical records in the hands of foreign people. There is just too much at stake, health tourism or not. That is just my opinion. Thank you.
Thank you. Ngozika, you said something very important. I think they call it in the interest of national security for a president of a nation to go outside to seek medical health. It's open to compromise. It's open to a lot of things. You hardly hear was the British government, British Prime Minister, or the US President, or the Canadian Prime Minister said they are going elsewhere. Can I, in the interest of national security, should...
So you just pass me.
Oh, sorry, Blackstone. My apologies. Goodness me. Because we're not looking at your face. Sorry about the apology, Blackstone. I'll come back to you. In the interest of national security, should our president be going outside the country seeking medical help?
Okay, so thank you for this question.
Let me go to Blackstone first. It was here before you. Sorry about that.
No, let him finish.
Okay, all right, go ahead. Yield the floor to you.
Okay, thank you. So when it comes to Nigeria's numerous issues, right? I don't know which one we're going to really talk about, because we have a lot of insecurities in Nigeria, be it life and properties, money, food, and now we're talking about health insecurity. It's a very pathetic thing to see a minister of so-called Minister of Health in Nigeria, trying to defend something that doesn't make sense. Somebody talked about it is okay for one to go outside of the country for health tourism. I say, no, it is not okay. As a leader, you should be able to have, to test run that development or that thing that you've built for your people. They say that a charity begins at home. And when we're having a conversation here, some people will say, oh, can you die for Nigeria? And the question will be, my question now will be, will the leaders be able to go to that hospital they built, televise, and echoed everywhere that they built first-class hospital? Would they be able to receive treatment in those hospitals? If the answer is yes, why are they now running abroad to receiving health treatment abroad? So it is, for the interest of the nation, it is a very bad thing for a so-called leader, president, governor, senator, to go out of the country for medical tourism. Years were gone when Nigeria was one of those countries that other presidents come for medical tourism. And that is why I always believe that our ancestors perform better, beautifully good than we are performing right now. We are killing, destroying what our ancestors built. Because back then, countries like Saudi and all these UAIs, they always come to Nigeria for medical tourism. But now it is Nigerians that are going to those other countries for medical tourism, and it's a very pathetic thing to have. So to answer your question, no, it is very bad to have such thing happening in a country that claim to be a giant of Africa. And I always ask, what is it that Nigeria is giant about when it comes to that mantra of giant of Africa? Can they single out one thing that they perform better than any other African country? None. Nobody would tell me one thing that Nigeria performed better than any other African country. KJ here was giving us experience that he had in Nigeria. I equally had one some time ago. My brother's child was taken to one, I think it was one of the biggest hospital in Lagos State, built by their so-called Mr. Strategist that he built Lagos. This child had health insurance, and at the end of the day, they had to go outside of the hospital to buy each and every medical tools or material that was used on this child for this for the surgery. Syringe, common syringes which they used to give injection, they have to go outside the hospital to buy it. Every damn thing, and most of these things are supposed to be sterile, but they had to go and buy it from outside. So I don't know how they are going to sterilize it again. This, is very pathetic, because people die every day. Pregnant women die every day. Children die. The rate of maternal mortality is very, very high in Nigeria, and children are dying even without being taken to the hospital, because the parents can't even afford the cost of medical treatment. Are we talking about medications now? Medication that you buy maybe from 2 years ago that you spend 1,000 naira buying, today is about 40,000 naira. Those that have diabetes are dying on a regular basis. High blood pressure is killing them because they can't afford the medication. And then we are now prouding ourselves to be giant of Africa. You are prouding yourself to be a president. Every little thing you run out abroad to go and receive treatment is a shameful thing. As far as I'm concerned, there is no country called Nigeria. People are just living in the wild. There is nothing called Nigeria. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I don't know. I need to yield the floor for the ladies. Topa and Adama, I yield the floor to you people, please. Thank you. To continue.
Blackstone.
Mr. Blackstone is next. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you, Electricity. Blackstone, welcome. to the show. Your take.
Thank you. I greet everybody on the platform. Yeah, although I listened to the interview for the Minister of Health, so Tokbe said all that he said is a liar, so on and so forth. This is a lie. So what do you expect from liars? Do you get anything truthful from liars? So all the people in the government, they are all a bunch of liars. So definitely they will talk to defend their principle and what they are doing. So like what Godzika said, for a president of a country to travel to a different country for medical treatment is a very high insecurity. It's part of insecurity actually, right? And then they can do anything, but I look at it in a different way. What security a Nigerian president, what is importance in the world to any other country? It's zero now. So it's not important. So he can go to anywhere and take his treatment. So nobody cares about him. Nobody cares about the country. So it's not of importance to any other country. So in traveling abroad, as this is not a security issue to Nigeria because nobody cares about him. Coming to the issue of medical treatment in Nigeria, it is very bad, right? And also to some extent, there are so very good hospitals also in Nigeria. These are private hospitals, the so-called general hospitals, teaching hospitals. Those ones are already dead because in Nigeria, anything in the hands of government, they have killed it. So, but if you have money, yeah, you can go to the place, you can still get good private hospitals, right? And you can still get very good treatment. At least the former VP had his own operation in an hospital in Lagos, which is a very expensive hospital, though I've forgotten the name. A friend, the mommy was there just last week or last 2 weeks for an emergency. I know how much it cost them. So if you have the money, you can get good private hospital and also a good treatment. And also,
I need to push back on what you said. But private hospitals are not affordable to the average common Nigerian man or woman.
Yeah, that's what I said. I said if you have money. So I said the state hospitals or the federal hospitals, they're all dead, right? So at the end of the day, it is a survival of the fittest. So the government doesn't care. So they are not providing any health facilities. The hospitals have no equipment. They have no medical stationaries, what they used to do their treatment and things like that. So we do here every time. Yeah, we don't have this. Go and buy this. Go and buy this. Like what Rashtaspan was saying. If there's an emergency in the midnight, what chemist are you going to go and buy medical items to bring to the hospital? It's a shame that definitely that an hospital will tell a patient go and is going to pay for the treatment, also go and buy his own materials for treatment for treatment. It's very, very bad. So at the end of the day, the government has failed in that area, totally failed, because no hospital you go to today, no state hospital you go today that you can find a reasonable, even doctors are not even qualified. Most of those are not even qualified. The qualified ones are jackpot of Nigeria, or they have their private hospitals. So at the end of the day, the government has, and it's not just big. This has been a gradual process. That's a gradual process that have been going on gradually for years. I remember those days when even students from Europe will come for hardmanship in Nigeria, in Nigerian hospitals for housemanship, So, but today it doesn't have no. Everything in Nigeria has been destroyed because the government just come there, do what they want, and they go away. And people just they cry, they talk and everything, and they don't care, So there's nothing like medical facilities in Nigeria today. There's nothing when it comes to the health sector because depending on the percentage. So the higher the higher the bad percentage, the lower the good ones. So the good ones are just for the rich ones, and the bad ones are just for the poor ones. So at the end of the day, we have no medical facilities in Nigeria. And that's my conclusion. So if you have, people will be complaining. If the state cannot provide, the federal cannot provide, they will provide. So the minister was just trying to defend himself, defend the president, and things like that. In fact, this is even my first time I was seeing him talking. I've never heard I didn't even know it was even the minister of health. So at the end of the day, it is zero. Total zero when it comes to health issues in Nigeria. Thank you.
Thank you, the Blackstone. My question will be, are you saying with all the more than 30, 40 states we have in Nigeria, we can't boast of a government hospital that is state of the art? Are you saying that we can't boast?
Can we boast of a governor in Nigeria? What governor can you boast of in Nigeria?
Wow. So even with the likes of the Alex Oti that people are now saying, they're like the Jesus Christ of politicians in Nigeria now. Are you saying Alex in is it Abia State hasn't made any?
Okay, let me put it like this.
Health sector.
Let me put it like this, right? It's what the people like, or Nigerians are people that like praises, understand me? Or because when the Alex Oti commissioned that power station, they thought that that's the end of life because they think, we are constantly in darkness, so there won't be any more darkness in some area in the state, so on and so forth. So we're not even thinking of other things, right? Right? Like in Nigeria, most governors, okay, let's just talk generally now. How does the citizens rate their governors? One, they are constructing roads. They are doing this. They are doing this. They're not talking for other things that are
pertinent. Things like health.
Yes, they're not talking about those ones. So nobody cares. So that's where the issue comes from. So the citizens, what they care for, my governor, he construct this road. He do this one. He do this one. Then what about the health issues? What about employment? What about other things that improve life that they're not providing? So at the end of the day, all the governors in Nigeria are not performing. So I don't think it is the beautification of the roads that make you a performing governor. Those are for me are nonsense. Those are what I call utilities or the basic things a governor should do for his state. One of the basic things a governor should do is provide health, education, power. Those are the basic things. That's the basic things a governor should do. Not even roads, because once you provide those basic things for the citizens, then the more they pay for it, the more revenue you have, the more you can use that revenue to develop other things that doesn't provide you revenue. Roads construction doesn't give you revenue. It's expense. It's expense. It doesn't generate revenue for you. So at the end of the day, so if you provide things that from there you can get revenue from, and then use those revenue you get to do other things that are less revenue generating aspect, the citizens will be more happy. Nobody will go to the hospital say pay for this one, they don't pay. You know that they're going to get that treatment. They will pay.
That's a great
can I weigh in?
1 minute, Kenneth. That's a great point that you just raised at Blackstone, because if you're able to provide the basic needs of your citizens in your state, basic water, electricity, medical, good medical facilities, education, good schools, you'll be able to do the other things like road construction. That's all people are just seeing. Kene, you have something?
Yes, I have something.
I wanted to say something. I've been called. It looks like I've been called.
Yes, you were called and you didn't respond, so we moved to the.
Just a minute.
Let's Kene speak then.
Just a minute.
To Nigeria, you could speak after.
So what Blackstone just said now is nothing but the truth. You know, there are basic things that you need to provide for your citizens before even talking about health, because if you don't provide those things and they are living in abject condition, they'll always frequent the hospital. And this is it. We're talking about affordability, right? When it comes to Nigerian hospital, let me even start with this. They may have a structure, very big, beautiful building, but that building is filled with empty physicians, empty nurses. And this is what I mean by empty. We used to have qualified physicians, like world-class physicians, but most of these physicians, they've fled, they've all jabbered, they've all left Nigeria. A lot of them are in Saudi Arabia, they are in Kuwait, they are in UK, America, they've fled, right?
America.
Yes. So they are now left with business people that call themselves physicians. And that is why if you go to, I'm not even talking about private hospital now, I'm talking about government-owned hospital. If you go there as an ordinary citizen to receive medical treatment, you start by paying what they call card. You have to pay for card. Then after paying for card, you have, then for example, you are diabetic, right? Now you have to pay for card. You have to pay for a consultancy fee to see a physician that will attend your diabetes. And then because they have to take your vitals before you'll be able to see this physician. When they take your vitals and it happens that you have high blood pressure, there is one other idiot that calls himself a physician that will see you for your high blood pressure. Then you have to pay consultancy fee again to see that idiot that will see you for high blood pressure. Then when you've been seen for the high blood pressure, you've not seen the doctor that will take care of you for the diabetes. So then they will not tell you, oh, the doctor comes twice every month. So you have to register, queue online, go back to your house, then come back after 2 weeks or 3 weeks to see the physician for your diabetes. And when you come back again, you have to pay for another card. You have to pay for consultation again to see the diabetes, a doctor for the diabetes. Then the hospital will now bill you for the services they rendered. That is not even effective. Then you have to pay for your medication. Any medication that is prescribed for you, you have to pay for it. And they will make it in such a way that you must buy that medication from that hospital. And their own is times 10 the price sold outside the hospital. Now, this is why people cannot even afford to pay for their medical expense. And they would rather die in the house, or maybe take the option of herbal medicine, overdose themselves, get toxic with the medicine and died. And this is the problem with Nigeria. The physicians, qualified physicians we used to have, they've left Nigeria because they are paid peanuts. They can't take care of their family with what they've been paid with. So they have to go for a greener pasture, just like most of us have jabbered. And then living, I don't want to call them any name, but all I know is that most of them right now in Nigeria are not physicians. They are just business people, calling themselves consultants, left, right, and center.
Thank you, Kenneth. Before Tunaja comes in, what I was thinking at the point when I knew, or I believe there was no hope for the health sector in Nigeria is growing up and living in Lagos and patronizing government hospitals because I had no choice. My mother is a pharmacist and worked for the state government, and we never used private hospitals. But she retired and still maintained that we'll continue using government hospitals. As at the time after she retired and we're going to the hospitals, when I knew there was no hope was when I found out that going to a government hospital in Lagos for someone going to give birth, that they had to buy their own cotton wool and bring that into the hospital to have their cesarean, section. They gave them a whole list, and that they had to also bring in and buy their own drip. That's when I knew there was no hope, and that we're really in a problematic state in Nigeria. To Niger. Forefathers, your take, please. Can you hear us?
I am muted. I was muted. Sorry about that. Yeah, thank you for having me, Chop and Adama, and greetings to all the panelists. I greet all the chat people too, and especially to the viewers. This is a matter that I feel quite strongly about because there are significant security implications with the attitude of our leaders. Leaders are not normal human beings anymore. They make decisions that affect millions of people. In the context of Nigeria, a Nigerian president might actually make decisions that affect maybe even 1 billion people. Nigeria is a very strategic nation. And, the idea, when the Blackstone said something about it doesn't matter, Nigeria doesn't matter. If you don't value yourselves, I've said it before, if we don't value life, why should life value us? We are a significant people. Even on the African continent, Nigeria, this space that you call Nigeria, is significant. The so-called Bantus that you hear about that went all the way to South Africa, where did you think they emerged from? They emerged from this space you call Nigeria and the Mambila Plateau there. Nigeria is a significant nation and it affects all regions. Can you imagine when most of the population of Africa itself can trace their lineage down to this area, and then the ones that they took into slavery can trace their place down to this area, and at the same time it's the most populated country in the world, and you're a leader, you take yourself, if you don't take yourself seriously, why are we surprised things are going badly? That is how we did it. We keep selling our people into slavery as if, I don't know the game we are playing. Maybe there's a game to it, because maybe the thing is that we send our people into slavery. Somehow the people we are selling them to will die and they will take over. Maybe that's the plan. But nobody has told me that. And I don't see how that plan is going to work. Because I've never seen any case where people that are oppressing people suddenly fall and die. It doesn't happen. That is a terrible plan if that's the plan. Because right now, we are even lucky we are still standing here. The reason why we are still standing here is down to one simple thing. Mosquito. Not because of our own power. Mosquito kept them out. By the time they were able to find a cure for mosquito, they came here, took everything, and by the time they could have a chance to really do serious damage to us, they were fighting world wars. That is why. It's just by accident of nature we are still here. And if you don't take yourself seriously when God has given you chance after chance, your leaders go for overseas to go for treatment, and you don't think that, these people, they have done this to us, they've done that to us. And even them, they don't go into each other's country. They watch each other too. And yet we don't value ourselves. We just send our leaders over. Go. Let them go and have all your health history.
Who send them over now? Who send them over?
That's what I'm saying now. We have to be telling ourselves not to be allowing them to be doing these things and letting them know that this is not acceptable behavior. Some of them, one of them, Ogukwe, said yesterday that Tinubu is in London now because he doesn't want political interference when he wants to reshuffle his cabinet. So you leave your country, go Igbo country, because you don't want people to disturb you when you are reshuffling your cabinet. Is that where we are now? What else is he going to be? If his wife frowns at him, he travels to London. This is getting out of control. And our people see these things and we don't recognize that it's a real danger. And I'm sure everybody is beginning to pick up on this. And I really wish Ajola asked him the question from that point of view. She is asking him that from the point of view that he is the president, the first person in the country, so he is supposed to set good example. But he should have let him understand that that's a security problem. You can't have your leaders keep traveling overseas. And the health minister, look at the way he's talking. The mindset of some of these people, sometimes begin to wonder, are these people actually from us anymore? You know how we say that we are all responsible? Sometimes these people, you begin to wonder, are they actually from us? Because literally his whole focus is, look at other people are doing it, that we should train people to go there and walk. It's like, is that not what our people used to do before? take our people, give them to other people. Even this president, there's a video of him now when he was with the, I think, Imo State governor, when he was boasting that if people jackpot overseas, that they are going to send more people to them. If we don't value life, let's not be surprised life doesn't value us. There are so many of our people that are dying in hospitals. There are so many of our people that are being misdiagnosed. Even doctors are getting kidnapped. Nurses are getting kidnapped. It's just a total mess on every angle. Young people are falling ill left and right in Nigeria. Prescription, they are prescribed. If you get malaria, they give you, just to back up, they will give you this thing. What is it? Typhoid medicine. Medicine. Yeah, they give you 2 of them, as if you are curing both. I'm like, but you got 1. Now, how can it be 2 of them? He said that's how it goes. This is poisoning a whole generation, and we just sit down and just let it happen. I really wish that we start talking to our people with this pidgin English, because that's last Saturday, because so that they can get it to them, so that they start hearing this thing and knowing that this is wrong. We are storing up a lot of health issues into the future. Our health system is in chaos. It's all over the place because the amount of people that have left the country is too much. It can't sustain itself. Even the plan that they claim to have put in place, that they said if you send 1 person overseas, we are going to use that 1 person to train 1 more person. How is that going to solve the problem? You are sending 1 person overseas and you keeping training 1 person. How about the ones that train Nigerians?
Thank you for that.
Thank you for that.
Welcome, Pansat, and what's his name again?
Icon Fire.
Icon Fire is a Jamaican. Mr. Pansat,
yes, sir.
you've been
Thank
following
you.
it on the chat section. Thanks for joining. And I know you have some ammunition under your belt in respect to the discussion. So I will give you the floor, please. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much to the ladies, Tope O, others, Mr. Damma, and of course, Madam Luke in the comment section. I was recommending that you try to bring in Madam Luke whenever you see her. She's very smart, no nonsense, beautiful lady, and get what is this thing they carry? Spanner to retain her here. I also would recommend Chioma when she finally comes over here, because she has a lot of experience with comment section and policing it, to give her one of those spanners as well. Now, on the topic that we're talking about, the issue we have in the country, obviously, we say it all the time, is corruption, bad management, poor infrastructure. That's what's to blame for the state of the Nigerian healthcare system that's fueling medical tourism, right? There's no doubt about that. This one you just don't blame on the presidency. We know that Buhari is one of those who took it to another level. Whereas that's for the government sector, right? He and his family, his wife and his nephew, they spent over 260 days outside as medical tourists. Now, the funny thing is that when these Nigerians go on medical tourism, guess who treats them when they're overseas? Mostly Nigerians, Nigerian doctors. So when they do go overseas, they go to Nigerian medical facilities and healthcare personnel. So in a way, it's not all a total loss. So all they have to do to reverse this trend is to do very good legislation to bring about a nice health scheme, because there's no confidence in the Nigerian medical infrastructure.
So, sorry, Pansat, sorry for interjecting you there.
Yeah.
Are you suggesting that we don't have a good we don't have good legislation in place, or is because we're just not respecting it?
They don't have good medical infrastructure. We have the personnel, we have trained doctors, both in and out. even if you don't have them in, you could attract them from out, right? We have a lot of doctors who are here in the United States, for one thing. I'm sure in the UK and so many other Western capitals, right?
And Uncle Pascal, how can you attract them? What are the incentive you can convince someone like me to move back to Nigeria to work in Nigeria?
Beautiful question. That's actually where I was going. To reverse the trend, there needs to be healthcare scheme, private sector involvement, ease of doing business in the health system, tax waivers, waivers on import duties, foreign training of the trainers themselves, right? So you have to make it to where the political class will have confidence in the primary healthcare and tertiary care as well. So it has to go through proper legislation, make it clear that it's one of the it actually involves security. In the case of our politicians, our president going through intrusive surgery out there. So once the government determines that something is important, then they're going to do a lot of things, right? You could incentivize it with just tax waivers on import duties and all kinds of things. Have infrastructure come in, attract our people outside. You'll be surprised now how many top-notch doctors we have. For example, here in the United States, there a lot of these people want to come home. They could fly in on a weekend, do some organ transplants, and fly back to whatever it is they're doing until they have the confidence to then base over there. So it all depends on government. But you know, the way you have to, somebody like Tinubu, I'm telling you, it's like a vandal, right? Whereas Buhari was like a terrorist. Tinubu has no reason not to do the right thing, but he's, you know, it's like one of those people, they go and they spray graffiti on buildings. You ask yourself, why are they doing it? What do you have to gain? You spend your money, you're spraying defacing buildings. He's nothing but it's just a destructive mindset to wreck, deface Nigeria, trash it, desecrate the country. He has absolutely nothing to gain from it. Mischief making. So we have to tackle these things based on legislation. I know that electricity is one of those that cite the Constitution. It's a couple of chapters he always refers to that will make the Constitution better, this and that. We have the power. We're gonna have to go through legislators. I hope I'm quoting you right, Pastor, because I think that's one of the things you say now. This is one of those.
Yeah, yes. We say, thank you for that. We have the legislations or the laws in place. It is implementing these laws. We don't, people think it's like, say, thou shalt not lie. Okay, the law is there. So it's up to me to lie or not to lie. Is it the fault of the law that is there? That is the law is there, or the fault of the person who is supposed to implement it or prosecute me if I lie? It's all there. So I don't think legislation is our problem. I don't really. That legislation is not our problem. We have it there, but it's implementing this legislation. It's obeying, and if it's disobeyed, look at all the money they've stolen. Who has anyone been held accountable for it? The answer is no. Thank you. I yield the floor back to you.
That's absolutely true. And usually what I do in situations like this is my agreement with you, it's trying to remove the fallacy, right? Which means that we have to choose this or that. No, what you're saying is part of the solution. It's not a panacea, silver bullet, but it's part of the solution. Now, legislation doesn't mean making laws to people in jail. That's part of it. You can also make laws to make the laws we already have in the books better. You can make laws to incentivize, right? There's something you're going to put in that National Assembly, have it signed by the president, and a lot of doctors will start heading home. They have to have security. You could create a city for them. You could create a compound. I don't know, whatever it is that it takes to give people security. That alone will attract a lot of people, not just in the medical field, but it has to be where patrons, people who have some kind of shame, like me. When I first left the shores of Nigeria, and when I landed in Frankfurt, Germany, I was already upset. I was already mad because of what I'm seeing. It's like, what the hell? When I finally arrived in the United States, I really want to go back and kick some ass because it's totally unfair. The chasm is like this wide. What this society is over here, and they're not as smart as we are. That's another thing. I used to say that when I was a student. I said that when I was a professor. They're not as smart as we are. So what is the problem?
Yeah. Thank you, sir.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Icon, we're going to go to you. Then after that, I'm going to close it and say my opinion in regards to this next segment. Then we'll go to the next video. Icon, welcome to the show. You're next. Go ahead, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Pill, and thank you for accepting me on this prestigious panel.
Thank you, Icon Fire. Just make sure you keep it PG-13. You know what I'm saying, bro?
Yeah, I can understand that. I'm around super intelligent people. I'm from the hood,
Right,
but
bro.
I think I can.
Icon, you know you're talking to Adama, so we've been on the path. I know you can, so I want to hear you speak because I know you have something you got to say on this. So I trust you that you can hold your own. Yes, go ahead, bro.
I actually have not to be cocky, but I actually have the solution, and it's easy. It's very easy in terms of what the solution is, but not the implementation. That's not the easy part. But the easy thing is what Nigeria and most of Africa is lacking is black privilege. Not mental black privilege, active black privilege. In terms of how you view the other man, in terms of how we behave with the other man, the other black man, and in terms of what we want for the other black man. These are the things that's going on. As a matter of fact, I'm advising all Nigerians and maybe all Africans to go and make a screen if you have both kidneys. You feel me? Because of the immorality that the colonizer has taught us. You feel me? Both on the Islam side and on the Christian side. We all need to get rid of the religion that is an umbrella over us, because it's all associated. It's associated with slavery. Now, what I'm saying is, like, we don't have no privilege. The other person is indoctrinated not to say to himself that wealth and luxury and what you call pleasure, all of these things the other man don't think you need or should access. So it's a self annihilation method of the colonizer. You feel me? For us to self annihilate. You feel me?
Yeah, I feel you, bro. I feel you.
Yeah. So what's going on in Nigeria is the lack of privilege is chasing away the doctors. What I mean is, you're a doctor and you can die if you adopt politics and have public utterances about politics. You can die. You feel me? Even being an outstanding doctor in Nigeria, you can die. The reason is because there is no black privilege. a lot of black people think that black people is not supposed to be in rank positions. A lot of black people don't want another black person to be their boss. A lot of black, okay, the reason why black people in Africa build houses on the dirt and leave the road as dirt is because his neighbor is going to benefit. That's why he don't incorporate with each other and build a road. You feel me? Because it's all a bad mind structure that they incorporated, where only the white man is. We only know the white man to have wealth and luxury. We all black people. I'm telling you, that's the only way we know white people. We don't know white people hardly any other way.
So, Icon,
So
what does this have to do with healthcare? Both in the Caribbean, I've been in the Caribbean, and we're talking about
yeah,
African now. How do we
no,
get
but
our
it's
healthcare
the same.
system to be something people
It
can look at?
terrifies. Yeah, yes, ma'am. Sorry, I cut you. Sorry to cut you. But it's terrifying
You're fine.
the health. It's terrifying the healthcare. It's listen. It's a plague within each other. Now imagine the other man think you as just someone excluding of his personality, like are is not joined. The people that's taking care of you think they are not joined to you, thinking that you have nothing to do with them. Not a brother, you're not brother, you're not nothing. You understand? So people thinking that way about you, not supposed to be taking care of you. You feel me? So it's all
I feel
about,
you. I feel you, bro.
yeah, it's all about us. Not look, hardly anybody. Well, you have external forces that's trying to destabilize Africa. But if you didn't have disloyal Africans, those external forces would be weaker. They're using our gullible people. What I mean gullible, white loving, white patriotic people. What's going on in Nigeria and all of these things is Bruni, white privilege. What you call him? The white name, but it's white privilege is going on in Africa. The government system is structured under white privilege. What I mean is, you don't have nothing to do with the Constitution. It's not really for you, because most of it is colonial oriented. It's not black people oriented and black hair oriented in terms of, because what our people need care. Our people
Mm-hmm.
need our people need warmth and guarantee of security. You must have black love to do that to Africans.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead.
Round it,
Thank you.
bro. Yeah, you done?
Thank
Yes,
you.
ma'am. Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you so much, Icon. I want to close this healthcare. We're going to go to another topic. Now, I wanted to hear what everybody say before I speak. As a healthcare practitioner, it's sad to see what Nigeria healthcare system is. And when the Minister of Healthcare Terrorism was talking, I don't know what he was saying. To be frankly, I don't understand what he was saying. I feel everything coming out of his mouth was like. Now, let me give you a perspective for those that don't know. Let me give you a background. One of the top doctors we have in the world, all over the world, including United States where I reside, are Nigerians. Brilliant, smart. When you come to neuros, Nigerians are there. When you come to cardiologists, Nigerians are there. Cardiologist, to be a cardiologist in the United States, you have to go to school for 14 years. To be a neurosurgeon, which I'm married to, 18 years. Anesthesiologist, 12 years of school. So that's what I do. That's my specialty. So what I want to say to people, I want to put this in perspective so that people can understand what it takes to have the kind of healthcare system we want in Nigeria and be realistic for what you're asking for. We have doctors who come all the way from Nigerians to come here to upgrade their skills, start all over. But a lot of the doctors, what we've come to realize that when they come here, they cannot come in as a specialist because, like I said, if you want to go back and you've been practicing as a cardiologist back home, you come here, you can't. You have to start, you know, you have to take your board. I don't know some of the requirements, so I'm not going to speak too much on that, but a lot of them end up being general practice. We don't have a lot of people who come in from Africa. Only a few come in as a specialist because, like I told you, to be a cardiologist is 14 years. To be an anesthesiologist is 12 years of school. To be a neurosurgeon is 18 years, 16 to 18 years of school. So think about that. So medical schools, all these bills you're thinking is not free. So when you see someone who has gone to school, medical school, first degree, medical school, neuro school, and all those things, please applaud them. They are not just talking, they know what they're talking about. And one thing I want people to realize, in order for us to get what we want in Africa, I'm sorry to say we have a long way to go. Because when this man was, when the healthcare, the terrorism,
Minister of Health.
Minister of Health was talking with Adeola in regards to oncology. Oncology was something I did for 4 years and I get to experience. Oncology is not something you can just speak about like that. You're talking about cancer. It is something serious. We have brilliant nurses, doctors, everything, healthcare workers. The thing is, how many of us are willing to go home and take our family and start all over back home in Nigeria? Will I do it? No, I won't do it. Because one, I will tell you one thing. One, they can't afford me. Forget they can't afford me. Security, will I feel secure? No. For those that go in, for those that relocate, doctors who relocate, they know someone that knows someone. They have connection. They have investments. They have people. They are connected. They don't just wake up and say, oh, I'm selling my house. I'm relocating on my family to Nigeria. Healthcare system in Nigeria is not something we ought to talk about. It's sad. My heart bleeds to talk about this subject because as someone who is in the healthcare system, and even in America is not so perfect, and in Europe as well is not so perfect. But one thing I pray for is I believe that healthcare is something that everyone should have access to, no matter your paycheck, no matter what you earn. You should be able to feel like you're not feeling well. Let me go to the doctor. But we have people now going under traditional medicine. And the thing about traditional medicine, you don't know the dosage of what you're taking. You're just taking things because you want to feel better. We have people self-medicating themselves and things like that. But at the end of the day, I always say one thing to people. All these political elites, whatever position you might find yourself, if you wake up and you have a cardiac arrest, ask yourself, can you be able to go to the nearest hospital next to you in Nigeria and you know you'll be safe? If you can answer that question, good for you. But for me, if I go home now and God forbid I have a cardiac arrest or something happens to me, can I wake up and say I'm going to this hospital in the middle of the night with this insecurity and everything? No, I can't say that. So at the end of the day, health is what? Our healthcare system is an investment for the people. So the earlier we wake up and realize that we are shortchanging ourselves by not implementing all those things and putting all those things in place. I'm sorry to say this, we have a long way to go. You know, Tonight always says something when he says something about insecurity, insecurity, insecurity. And he's right. Electricity always says something about electricity. Nothing can work in Africa without electricity. A Trauma One hospital. Let me tell you something. There's a doctor I want to talk about. He's a doctor, he's a surgeon that everybody happens to know. Dr. Sanjay Gupta. He's a neurosurgeon. He works for a hospital called Grady. That's one of the hospitals. Grady is in the south. Grady is one of the best burning units. If you ever get burned, anything happened to you, they will take you to Grady. And I'll tell you why. It has one of the best burn units in the south. Dr. Sanjay Gupta works at Grady, not because of, he's who he is. He was nominated as the neurosurgeon for America. He turned it down. But one thing I want to tell people is how humble this man is, how laid back, how cool he is. I have worked next to him, and I'm honored to work next to him. So the problem I have with our people who are professionals, who are in this position of whatever, surgeons, everything, they have too much pride. They need to calm down. That's why if you see me, I don't like being addressed as whatever my position is, because if I die today, I'll die as Adama. Whatever position I have doesn't care. Nobody care what position you have. But I want our people to know that medical school is expensive. I have a daughter going through it. And let me tell you, and she has full ride. Full ride. When I say full ride, 3 schools are dragging. They want her to come to their medical school. And medical school is not for the faint of heart. So when you see people go through all that and are practicing, applaud them. But doctors are not, how do I say it? They're not know-it-all. Like when people ask me something, I keep my mic quiet because you stay in your area of practice. Everybody has their specialties. But I want to tell people, Nigerian doctors, African doctors are one of the best in the world. If you come to any position, we are number one in all that position. Nurses, nurse practitioners, we are number one. And it breaks my heart to see that our healthcare system is in shambles. And the governments are busy flying out. When they come to America, you see them, they are getting the best of the best healthcare, and you're looking at them, and I'm like, how long are you going to keep doing this? But at the end of the day, I want to tell people, and President Jimmy Carter is going to be 100 years old. And
he's
that
already
man
100.
is the
I think
president
OJ
of
said
the
he's already
people.
100.
Yes, he's already 100. So he's a man of the people. When I say he's a man of the people, he believes that things needs to be accessible to everyone. I'm not saying he's perfect, but I pray that I will live to see where healthcare can be accessible to everyone. Me and my brothers came in together. Let me tell you all a personal story about my family. We wanted to do something back home for our people, giving back. And we came together and we told my dad, we don't want anybody to know that we're the one doing it. My dad went ahead. He was championing it with his people. Everything went great. When it came to the day of launching it, and I told them, I can't come home. And my brother said, why can't you come home? I said, I can't, because I just don't feel safe. And my brother said, no, with all the security, no, you'll be fine. Adama, you have to. So I went and we launched it. But I'll tell you one thing. Our people do not know how to maintain things. When I say maintenance, to run all these facilities, the equipment we're talking about are not equipment of $200,000 naira or this. These are expensive equipment. And what we built back home was just basic health care. We do it every year. We go home with blood pressure, medication to check your blood sugar, just basic need. I don't want something where I'll have to be committed, and I know I can't do that. But it breaks my heart to see how much people yearn and look forward to that thing. So I just want to tell us, if you're in the position of helping someone tomorrow and you see a child that needs help, if you go on social media and they say this person needs surgery, please donate. If your heart and conscience touches you, please do it, because guess what? For someone who has been able to walk through Lutz Hospital, all the major, there was a hospital I went to in Abuja. I was just broken because when it comes to the basic thing that the hospital need, they don't have it. So we need to pray for our country, and at the same time, we need to start implementing this change immediately, because God forbid it could be any one of us tomorrow that will need this emergency and will not have access to it. So the change has to start immediately because we need it like yesterday. So I pray that, for those of us that are listening, that have the connections, let's get to it. The policy, our policy, healthcare policy, I don't know what it is, but it's complete nonsense. We need to start. We need to start. We should be able to be proud, to say, oh, we have our doctors, top doctors are moving back home. They're starting this, they're coming together doing this. I mean, it's something that I will always support, but at the end of the day, my prayer is none of us should ever find ourselves back home where we need a healthcare emergency and we don't have access to it, because we've lived in a country where we have access to everything. So speaking on that note, thank you everyone. We heard what everybody say. Electricity, could you please play the next video? Thank you.
Please let me take a direction. So I want to go out and
go ahead, Mr. Blackstone.
Okay, thank you, Adama. Listening to what you said is very germane and just like that. I think one of the great, you mentioned something, lack of maintenance. That's Nigeria's greatest problem. Lack of maintenance. I think in the 70s, 80s, our hospitals were quite good. But because these hospitals have medical directors, they have everybody there who are there, and everything. These are Nigerians, these are people who are well educated, who are better. At the end of the day, they run down these things because lack of maintenance. So at the end of the day, it is, I don't know if it's a culture or it's our culture or our mindset. If we even personally look at Nigerian houses, a man will build a house, 5 years later, go and see the house, it will be in shambles because he will not maintain it. So first of all, we have to change our mentality. We have to bring in a maintenance culture into our life and a culture of responsibility. If you do well, you'll be rewarded. If you do bad, you have to face the punishment. But in Nigeria, this doesn't happen. So it's like, well, like you said, uno man. This is my friend. I have the power, I can do this. That is why this doesn't work well in Nigeria. And the law, I can tell you that most Nigerians don't even know their right. The laws they have that protect their right, they don't even know. So it's a country whereby people do not care what are the things that protect their rights. They don't know. So at the end of the day, how can it work? So we have to begin to change our mindset. We have to begin to change how we think. Because nothing works when we don't think right, when we don't do things right. No matter the position you are, if you do right, you'll be rewarded. If you do bad, you'll be punished for it. But in Nigeria, it's a different ball game. So I think that Nigerians in any field, we have Nigerians in every field, they are intelligent people. But one thing I see that guides them is the law. And most of the Nigerians you are seeing that as we went abroad, when they get to Nigeria, they feel that there's no law. They begin to behave like Nigerians. So they give them 2, 3, 4 years. We see them behaving like Nigerians also when they came to meet.
You're so right, Mr. Blackstone. You're so right.
So this is Nigerian problem. So that attitude of praise, like you said, I've never seen any. I have a doctor who is the head of the best doctor in eye surgery in glaucoma here. Nobody call him by his title, doctor. Everybody call him by name, doesn't care. He sees you, he's the one that will say hello to you first. But in Nigeria, don't call them by their title. You are in trouble. You go to the office in the morning, you don't call your boss by his title. He will sack you. That's when you begin to have a problem with him. This attitude of pride, recognize me, all these things are the actual problem we have in Nigeria. So until we begin to humble ourselves and begin to change, I don't think anything will change. Thank you, everybody, and I wish everybody good night.
Thank you, Mr. Blackstone. I like what you just touched on. I said pride comes before fall. Like I said, our doctors are proud of them. They are doing great things. At the end of the day, we need to realize one thing. We all need to come together to put in that change. But I always tell someone, in order for me to be involved in anything, I need to make sure it's going to yield results. Don't get me involved in something because you want my name in it, or you're just thinking about it. We have to be serious-minded people. And at the end of the day, there's something we say in Igbo. So for those people that know, they know. So Electricity, could you please play the next video? Thank you.
You don't have a right to
People are lying against him. Do whatever you want to do. You are here. Did you see? You are not here. Did you see? You did. You test me. You have the right to say you are
No! I want my glasses! I'm on the glasses! Social media. You do not have a right in this room. You do not have a right. You are not a tenant here. You do not have a right here. Your glasses is there.
Electricity, can you pause, please? Okay, thank you. Ed, I'm going to start with you. Before, for the people asking what the video is all about, this is the problem I had with this video. And when a man is mad, whatever is going on, and he's walking away, let him walk away. Holding him, a woman cannot equate. No, you can't. I don't care what kind of woman you are. When a man hits you, forget it. Let him go. Like she holding on to the man, screaming, "Yeah, otikpami, otikpami." What was she saying? Please explain to us. You know, she was saying Yoruba. Please, can you translate?
It's the same drama. Otikpami, you don't kill me. You don't kill me. And she's the one dragging the man.
Upstairs was saying, telling him, Onishekushe, like this thing. Like telling him you slapped, and he said, "Sure, Bipe illegally me." So like, am I here illegally? So
otherwise, like you even understand the Yoruba more than me.
No, please. I want you to do us the honor. What do you understand about the video?
No idea. Maybe the electricity will be in a better position.
Okay. Ed, I'm going to come to you before I go to any other person. Welcome to the show. What is your problem with the video you just watched about a woman holding on to the man, and the man was like, "Leave me alone," like tearing up?
I think you guys need to help us to explain the video because we don't understand Yoruba. In my thinking, I was thinking maybe the man stole her or something. So I don't know.
Please stop her work. Please don't go there. Please. Please, I don't need your opinion in this, please.
Okay. All right, thank you so much, Adama. I do not understand Yoruba. The first time I saw this video, there was a caption that was put on it to suggest that it was the man in the picture is the governor of the state. But I've seen people come out to.
That's what Tokwe was saying as well.
It's exactly like the governor of the, I think.
Yeah, but it has been debunked. So it has been debunked by some sources on Twitter. But irrespective of that, what we saw there was the case of a man. I don't know the context or what would have happened before they started recording the video, but the man was doing his best to just leave. And the woman kept trying to incite. And I think that's wrong because, if the man had reacted just exerted a little force, he would be called an abuser. So I just feel, apparently that happened in the West. So you could just have called the law enforcement if this man did something terrible to you instead of, doing all that to him, recording him.
So Ed, my question to you now is, do you think women in the diaspora are abusing the privilege of having access and the law being on their side compared to back home where the law is favoring the men?
I wouldn't want to generalize. I think some women do. And it's not just about women being in the West.
No, I'm saying some women. I'm not going to say
some women do. But even in this case, the law enforcement or the law was not even, called upon in this case. It was just a case of puts the man out to be tried in the court of public opinion on social media, which I think it's very negative. You know, it's not a good thing for us to do. You know, it's not every family issue that has to be settled on social media. Unfortunately, that's the way we think now. And that could have also happened in Nigeria, you know. But I don't know the context, as I said, so I hope in days to come we get to know what really happened. Adama, please, if you don't mind, can I quickly say a little bit about the previous topic?
Yes, go ahead. You can. Yes, you
Okay,
can.
yeah. Yeah, I think everybody spoke well. I agree with, I think I Can Fire was the last person to speak on this. I agree with his conclusion, even though I don't necessarily agree with the way he came to it. But the fundamental truth is that we Black people don't like ourselves. We don't respect ourselves, you know. And it actually starts from the head. You look at the question that the minister was asked about Tinubu, you know, and again, Adama, you're an authority in this because you're a medical practitioner. If Tinubu spends a lot of money to renovate or to, you know, build or to fund the State House clinic in Aso Rock, why does he not use it? You know, it's just this thing of I'm better than this minion. I'm too big as a Nigerian. I'm bigger than the average Nigerian to be using a medical facility in Nigeria. And of course, there's a security implication for this. You know, these are just low-hanging fruits, things that, you know, can easily be done. This is not like you have to build a nuclear plant. It's a matter of there's a budget for the State House clinic. Okay, if you say Nigerian doctors, they're not used to the state of the art, I mean, Nigerian trained doctors, the worst you would do is to go to maybe the United States and get a Nigerian doctor to come treat you. Let's say in the case of a cardiologist in America would earn between $800 to $1.2 million in a year. Am I right about that, Adama?
No comments. You know, if I say anything now, my own is what they would take.
Okay,
So
sorry.
don't ask me.
Yeah, I mean, I say
don't.
this with some level of certainty because I have a medical doctor in my
Yes,
family.
cardiologists do earn a lot, and not just that. The more specialty you are, that's why I say when our people come here from back home, what you just said is true. But this is the problem I have, Ed. In order for Tinubu to get someone from here to come to Nigeria, that person has to be vetted. Vetted in the sense that that person and the family will not release information. There's something called here HIPAA rule.
HIPAA, yeah, I know that.
Yeah. So even when I'm doing my chatting, my camera comes on because as an anesthesiologist, I handle a lot of pain medications. So when you're doing it comes on, and when you're doing your recording. So why I'm trying to say this is that the medications are not medications that you can find, like they're not over. These are hardcore.
See, this is what I'm talking. This is what I'm talking about. If the president of the country wants any medication, he can afford it. That's the point.
Yes, he can afford it, but this is the thing. How many people will be able to give him that thing? You know, medication here, they'll ask for your date of birth and your name.
Yeah. But I'm saying, okay, let me put it this way. You're worried about things about patents, you know, highly sensitive information that the US might not be willing to give. But then that also assumes that there are not alternatives to that drugs in other parts of the world. You know, so the point I'm trying to really drive at is that at 800 grand per year for maybe like the lower end of a cardiologist's salary, a Tinubu, for example, can easily employ. I used 500,000 as a calculation. I know that would be like an endocrinologist, you know, someone that did a fellowship after internal medicine.
You know, you better stop. You're studying us too much. What is your problem?
Sorry. Adama, you're the one that outed yourself. Oh, I'm not a doctor, so I only know this because of the person I have in my family. But let me land. All these things, they come to like a total of maybe 2-3 billion naira if you convert it. A medical doctor here that has gotten to like almost the end of his career and is willing to go back to Nigeria and retire, you can pay him this money and even less. Give him the best of security. It's just a matter of assigning policemen to him. Give him a good place. that medical doctor living within Abuja is going to be living a life that's economically on a higher plane than is equivalent in the US, just because it has more purchasing power and its salary is totally non-taxed, as in tax-free. So you can get these people. If Tinubu really wants to get Nigerian medical doctors in any part of the world to come take care of the facilities at Aso Rock, he can do this. But somehow, he in particular just feels it is beneath him to be in a Nigerian medical facility. And this is where I can fire's point comes to play. The black man hates himself. It's like a big man, small people syndrome. You see
So,
yourself.
but okay, Ed,
Sorry,
you heard
can
my
I say something?
Ed. Hold on, Ed. You heard my analogy. You
Yes.
had the example I gave. I said,
Mhm.
if he has a cardiac arrest,
No,
no
I'm even
matter
saying,
all the equipment he has in his house, what hospital can he point, no matter where he lives,
can we
and
not
say,
build cardiac centers in Nigeria, in Aso Rock of all
"Thank
places?
you." Now you're getting to
Exactly.
my
So
point.
that's the point I'm trying to make, because you know why I say it. There is a budget every year to fund the Aso Rock clinic. If you see that budget, it's very high. And they don't use this thing. So it's just utter wickedness. I remember some years ago, sometime in the early 2000s, I was coming back I was going somewhere. And then while I was on that road, a convoy was coming along. That road was really bad. They just put stones on it. Like there was a lot of puddles. They just put stones. When it rains, it floods. And that convoy was passing by, and someone said, "That's the local government chairman." This man was going to his house. He saw all that puddle. Instead of him to think of how to just asphalt that road, what did he do? He decided to buy a car that's higher, like buy an SUV, so that he will not have a problem going through that. So it's that thing of, instead of us to fix the problem, we just want to also use that problem to show we are higher and better than our fellow Nigerian. We talk about the white men today. We tend to like maybe badmouth them. When those guys came as colonizers, right? Where they came, they built hospitals in Nigeria and used those hospitals. So it's not a case of, oh, if I'm feeling sick, maybe like a Frederick Lord Lugard, he will go back to the UK to get treatment. No, they didn't do that. They built houses here, used our facilities. Okay, they felt like, okay, maybe the road was bad. They made roads. Oh, if they felt like, okay, health was bad, they built hospitals. Anything they felt was making their life inconvenient, they did something about it. And it did not just benefit them, it benefited other people, including the black men that, in quotes, they despised. So, this is the mindset of a rational human being. The average Nigerian politician, especially these APC politicians, I'm sorry to say, because we didn't see this with Obasanjo, we didn't see this with Goodluck. This Buhari
Please,
and
no, Ed, don't politicize it, because health is something that healthcare is
no, I'm not
something
trying
that
to
doesn't know
politicize it. I'm just
whether
talking about
you're
the current leadership.
APC or whatever. I don't know the other party.
Okay, you're really what did I say, censoring me, Adama. But anyway, the Nigerian politicians that we have today, they anything to make them feel like they are better than the average Nigerian, they will do it. If they had to maybe drink water from the same, if they could even get a different oxygen to make themselves look better and higher than the average Nigerian citizen, they would do it just for the ostentation of it. And that's the problem. And that's what Fire was saying. We hate ourselves. We don't respect ourselves. Any position that you get in Nigeria now, maybe you are just the gate man. You want to oppress the people coming into your gas office. You want to let them know you are the man. Go to Atlanta. Go to Atlanta, and I mean, some years back when I went to Atlanta to go renew my passport, there was a guy at the front. I
Oh,
don't know if
please
anybody.
don't remind me of that Atlanta passport
Okay,
experience. It's the
let me just
worst.
end here. I think KJ wanted to say something. Let me just end here.
Yeah, thank you, Uncle KJ. Do you want to say something? Please come in, sir. Oh, I'll go to Ekene. Papa,
No,
can
please.
you explain the video? Because
Let the
Ekene was
righteous man
asking what
speak
did they
first because
say,
he's in
so that he
Nigeria.
can comment on that video. And before Ekene comments, I want to put a spin on it. Are some men deadbeat dad when it comes to parenting a child? So Tokwe, pick it up from where I just stopped. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Adama. So we're looking at a situation where a guy and a babe are in a relationship for a couple of years. They're planning to be together. They're planning their future together. And all of a sudden, boom, the girl gets pregnant. And then she finds herself in a situation where the pregnancy was denied by the guy, and he became MIA. The lady had to struggle to take care of the child. Eventually, she got married, and the person she got married to assumed the role of a father figure and sort of informally adopted her child and started raising her child. 20 years down the line, her ex showed up wanting to walk the child down the aisle and wanted to assume the role of a father. Who will blame the lady not allowing the man gain access to her child after going through that shameful experience, the embarrassment? Who will blame her to totally not allow the man into the child's
So,
life?
Tokwe, let me understand your question. What you're saying? This man was an absent father for all these years, and all of a sudden, the woman has got remarried, moved on with her life. From nowhere, the man shows up and wants to be present in this child life.
Yes,
and the woman is
wants to walk the child down the aisle. Yes.
And you've never been in that child life. Hey,
Please,
Okay, can I say something?
sorry, PJ, I'll give you the floor. I just want to say something here to know if I'm excused by it. I don't want to be a moderator in this subject. I want to be a panelist.
You're not going to be a moderator. I'm the moderator, so you're going to
Yeah,
speak
I mean
as
on
a
this
panelist.
subject, I want to be a panelist. I'm requesting that, please.
Okay, no problem. Your
So can I
request
come
is
in?
granted.
Hold on, can I have to speak? You guys have been speaking on this one.
Okay, go ahead, sir.
Okay, here is my take, and it's a good thing because these are the things happening right now in the world where we live.
Yes,
and as
yes,
a
sir.
father,
KJ, please, you need to
Hold
weigh.
on, let Tokwe finish. She's not finished yet.
You need to weigh on because you can't dissociate yourself from that first clip that we played and then on this spin that we put on it.
Oh, okay.
So I actually come with the two.
Yes.
Yes, you have to speak on two of them. You can't just speak on the
I
woman.
want to speak earlier on. You put there allow me. So let me make that input right now.
Go ahead, Uncle KJ. So you have to speak on both.
Yes, I will. I will, my sister. Thank you. God bless you.
You're welcome, Sende Wosa.
Woman. And Tokwe, well done also. You guys are doing great job.
Thank you.
Listen, I saw that video earlier and I was trying to understand it. People have sent it to me and said this is the governor. But I went to look for the picture of the governor and I realized that they're not really the same. And I'm thinking also, is it that the people who were dragging his shirt thought he was the governor? Because it's possible that they mistook him for who he is not. But let us even look at it. Let me try and dissect it by the video that I saw. The man was definitely not a willing party in this fight. All he was trying just to do was get away from the lady. And he was also visibly afraid because he was thinking that they're going to call police on him. So you could see that he wasn't just willing to spend any minute further away. I don't understand Yoruba, so I'm only trying to interpret from the picture that I saw. And, he was not willing. But the lady who was dragging him down, I cannot be able to make out what she was saying, but she was visibly not happy, or she was visibly looking for a way to put him in trouble, or she was also looking for a way for the man to either try to struggle with her or to hit her, and then that would be a full-blown case. And I saw the man pointing to another person saying, I hope you are getting all what is going on. So I think he was just trying to play the defensive, not to be involved in what he will not be able to finish, and then he took himself away. These things do happen, and it happens almost every time between us. And I heard what Ed said, which is true. Sometimes we as men don't respect ourselves because you see some men, trying to hit their wife. Sometimes the women are the ones who provoke the men to hitting them and all that. So we as black people, especially Nigerians in particular, should be more, mindful of each other. When a situation gets out of hand, it is always better for the other person to walk away from that scene until tempers calm down. If we do that all the time, we'll have a way because nothing that will stop from ending that will not end in discussion. You sit down on the other side of the table, I sit down, and if it's something we can go on with, we go. If it's something we can no longer go on with, what the center cannot hold, we can always shake hands across the aisle and say, thank you very much. It was good working along this side with you. And that way, life is much easier for everybody. Now, coming to which is really, really my interest is the fact that certain men always, and most of the time, is the men, they walk away because of one thing or the other. And you cannot blame majority of the men in Nigeria because if you go by the statistics published some time ago, it shows that most of the people in Nigeria, the children they say they are their children, are not their children, especially when they've gone to do by what you call it now, the biometrics. Oh, is it biometric? No, okay, you know what I'm talking about. When they've gone to do that in the hospital and they found that the DNAs don't come out the same thing with.
Yes, the DNA. Yes, I know what you're saying.
So now, but here is the case. In the case you have presented, and this question is quite sympathetic. I'm sympathetic towards the woman because she has struggled. And I know I had a friend. She's late now. When we were growing up, the same thing happened to her. Beautiful, beautiful thief girl, and she got involved with a guy, and he was planning to marry her. At that time, she had plenty of suitors. I mean, she was so pretty, and this guy kept insisting that he wanted to marry her, and she followed him, and eventually she got pregnant, had twins, girls, and the guy in her now said to say, "Oh no, it was not only me, or you had other people, so I will not take responsibility for this." And you see, as things will have it, the ladies came out not looking like their parents, the twins, they are looking like their mother, almost like a carbon copy of their mother. But the guy did what? He was able to escape from that thing. And the lady went on to suffer training them until eventually she passed. Now, why am I saying that? I'm saying that to say that most times these things happen and it goes without, most times it goes without anybody checking it. But this is what I will say. Despite what all of the people have suffered, whether they are the men or the women, at the time of marriage, so if the girl or the man has grown up, here's what I will also say. Most of the time, if it's a man's child, a boy child, most times they will ask because in the midst of discussing with their friends, some of them who know the story, especially if you are from Igbo land, like where I am from, most times when you are having time or chatting with your friends, and it gets to a point where you're overpowering them, they will call you, look at this one who doesn't even know his father because they know the story of your mom. So most times that pushes the men to want to find out from their father, from their mother, who is their father, or make them to go search out who their fathers are. Then the woman is not really a big deal because the women are they're obviously going to eventually leave the house. So most times that is not really a problem to them because before you know it, their address is changed and their surnames are also changed. But here is what I will say. Because the children have come to a point of no longer being referred to as a child, you can have a useful discussion with your child. Okay, my dear, this is the situation I had with your father. And this is how we went, and this is how we went, this is the road we went to. At this point, you have to make that decision yourself. And do you want this man who has run away from you, be the one to walk you all down the aisle? Or do you want the person who has paid your school fees, fed you, made sure that you become who you became today to walk you down the aisle? That decision should come from the lady. That way, you are not putting yourself in danger because that decision will always be hers. Just in case it's referred to tomorrow, you say no. You
So
too.
when you say the decision should come from the lady, are you talking about the lady that gave birth to the child
No,
or the child
the
in
child.
question?
Yes, the child who is now a lady now, because she's a lady to
Okay,
be married. She should be
mhm.
able to decide on which part of the eye she's going to stand. And if she decides that she wants the father, with the biological father, to walk around the eye, her mother should also be able to accord her that
And
respect.
accept it. And
Yes.
accept it.
But
Yes,
if
I
she
agree
says,
with you, sir.
okay, me now, based on what you have told me and what I've seen all through this my schooling, I eventually get to this point. This man, yes, is my father, but I don't want to have anything to do with him. I want this person who have taken care of me to do that. That also should be respected by the father who has all of a sudden showed up now want to claim to be father. Father
So,
simply
Uncle KJ, what happened in Igbo where they say, Omenala, Chukuna Kai, or Wuganaya? They will say it's not the father, that the
no,
bride price will
no,
be paid to the. So,
no,
in that case, what happened?
no. In my own part, Omenala is Omenala. Omenala doesn't mean that if your Peking, if you run away from a Peking when it comes time to enjoyment, even the elders will skate up and tell you, this one will not happen. You know, this child say he doesn't want you there, and that's all. And I'll give an example. Well, this is a little bit different. When my dad passed, one of his uncle has always fought him all through his life. And Omela simply means that he should be there. But we'll call the elder and say, we don't want this our uncle to be present here. And this is what we want as his child, his children. And the elders went and told him, say, okay, your brother's children say they don't want you around. So stay in your house. And we asked them if that is against the law. They said, no, it's his people's wish, and it has been to be granted. We saw how he was always against your father. So, in my own tradition, part of the Igbo land I came from, sometimes they defer to what you want, not necessarily following the tradition as it is. So, if the daughter gets up and calls Umuada and say, look, this is how I have, this is how me and my mother have run this race to this point. I want to give my mother the honor of being the one to choose who should walk me the aisle. They will allow it. They will not say, the only thing they will do is that whatever is the belonging of the man, the father who is the father, biological father, will be extended to him. But the part of playing that role on the day of the marriage, he will not do it. They will not give it to him. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying.
I
That's
understand what you're saying, Uncle KJ. It perfectly makes sense because from an Igbo culture, I really understand. That's why I said Omenala. And this even extends to the point of, let's say, death or something. You know how our tradition and what you said makes sense, where the child in question will say, whatever my mom wants. And there's something in Igbo, I say, "Yana nne ya gbara izuzu." What will
yes,
happen?
yes.
And they will come out, she'll say this is what she has decided. And I respect that whatever the child decision is, if the child said, oh, my biological dad should be the one to walk me down the aisle, it shouldn't make sense to me and you. It makes sense to her. Leave it alone. Follow what she said.
I agree.
Simple. Thank you so much, sir. I can
Thank
unmute your next, sir. Thank
Okay,
you.
thank you. So let me start with the last, then I'll go to the video that you played
So did
earlier.
you understand the Yoruba video? Did Tokpa explain it enough so that if you want to talk about it, you know what you're talking
Yeah,
about?
not fully well, but I think I have an idea.
Okay, hold on. Tokpa, can you explain, please?
It was just a case of drama between three or four women dragging one man.
Oh Lord.
The man.
Okay. No, Tokpa, you need to say what they are saying. No, you're not saying one thing, which is the issue.
They were
Tokpa, this
saying
is what
anything.
when we discussed this video, I told you the problem I had with this video. This woman has no business putting her hands on that man when that man was walking away. And she was screaming, that is unnecessary chaos. When a man is mad, if that man just hit her palm, she will fall down, and tomorrow now they say is abuse. Say it the way it is. That's why I said Ekene is asking, we don't know the behind the story. Why I requested for this video to be played. Yes, it's the women's segment. We have a balance where men can come as well and earn and express what they don't feel is right that our women do. And that's why I requested for this video to be played. What she did was so wrong. In the diaspora, some of our women abuse the privilege they have as women in calling 911. All in the name. Look at, she kept dragging the man. The man's glasses fell off. She tore off his shirt. And said, oh, no, he didn't touch you. So what are you screaming for?
Okay, so let me come in. I think I now have an idea of what's played out there. So I will start with the issue of a deadbeat dad. Then I'll come towards to the video. So if what Tobe said was actually what happened in a situation where you impregnated a lady, and then because you are not prepared maybe to take care of a child, you tend to run away and abandon the lady with the pregnancy. This lady go through the suffering and toils of getting, raising a child. And maybe she later got married to another man. And from my tradition, if you are getting married to a single mom, they may give you the option of getting married to the woman and also having the baby as yours, taking care of the baby as yours, or just getting married to the lady, not
Sir,
having the baby
please
as
let me
yours.
make
So
sure our viewers are
tradition.
understanding what you're saying. If you are marrying the mom, you are inheriting a child. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, you may be given that option to inherit the child or not. So if you choose to inherit the child as you are getting married to the mom, that child becomes yours. Whomever that thinks he's the biological father of that baby, that maybe he ran away or kind of decline responsibility or refuse responsibility of taking care of that baby. If that the lady's family unanimously agreed that the prospective son-in-law should also inherit that child, you have no right to come back for the baby again. You, the biological father, the baby is no more yours. However, from my experience in life, I've never seen a man, maybe it's happening, but I've never seen a man that reject his baby. Maybe for the shock, for the shock of not being prepared to take care of a child, he might try to run away. But at later age or later time, he may come back trying to take care of this baby. And because this is ex-girlfriend or ex-wife or ex-girlfriend in most cases, is still embittered against the guy, she may want to deny him the responsibility of taking care of his child. She might even go as far as lying to this child that the father abandoned him or her. We've seen a situation where a mother raised the child as a single mom, lied to this child that the father is a deadbeat, he has never taken, asked about him and all that. And when this child grew, he come in contact with his real father. And then the real father told him the truth, how he has been trying to take care of him, how he has been sending money on a monthly basis, yet the mother will refuse him to take care of, to come physically to taking care of him. And he wouldn't want to go to the court. He just left her to be the one going to court, whatever, but he has sworn that he will never take her to court. He decided to take care of his child in absenteeism, like he wasn't showing physically, but money aspect, he has been sending money. So he has to prove to this guy, brought out proofs that he has been sending money, and this is what happened. And the mother, finding out that this child has a connection with the father, she was so angry that she threatened this child. And because of that, the child left the mother and went back to the father. So we've seen that situation. Now, coming back to the issue of divorce, the high rate of divorce among Africans and especially Nigerians abroad is getting
Please,
out
where
of
did
hand.
you get divorced? We are not discussing divorce. I don't understand.
No,
what
I'm coming now. Something led to that. Going by the video you played now, if that man that I've seen to be a victim in that video, decide to go to court tomorrow, or maybe through that video, through that incident, the woman decide to call police on the husband. That may ultimately lead to divorce. So you are making a video, you are the one beating up a man, you are the one holding him, and you are the one shouting, "Eba mio, Eba mio." You are the one trying to get some evidence against the man, when the man was just trying to run away from your troubles. So you see, when they are in Nigeria, they are better behaved as wives. They know their responsibility. They know their duty post as wives. As soon as they step their foot abroad, they become the husband overnight. They want to ride you. They want to tell you to sit here. They want to tell you the kind of people you associate with and the kind of people you don't associate with. They want to tell you the kind of friends you keep and the kind of friends you don't keep. Look at the woman you went and married from her father's house. Probably one hungry village girl that you went to marry will now come to tell you how to live your life because she's now your wife. And because maybe the church told them that husband and wife have become one, they are the same level. Now she should now rub shoulder with you. And then she found herself in a country that supports stupidity. Stupidity in the sense that giving women right over their men. This is not our culture. And I see a cultural conflict here. Yes, in abroad, there are responsibilities. The man must provide. And where the man, only the man is providing, it will be difficult for him to take care of the family abroad. So they must join hands to provide it. So when you are joining hands to provide it, you, the man, should understand that you are not longer in Nigeria where you have house help that will cook, clean, where you have driver, where you have security. Now you, the man, you become the security, you become the car wash. You have to wash your car or you take it to car wash to work to wash for you. You have to clean your woman's car because women, I just find out that women they don't know how to keep their cars, tidy.
No, please, you say some women, not women.
I say some. Now, so you should learn how to clean your woman's car. I don't want to say wash dishes or wash plate. That one is something that you must learn how to do too as a man. Do you understand? You must learn how to take care of your babies. The omugo thing that we have in Nigeria, where when your wife gave birth, your mother-in-law will come for omugo. Sometimes your mother-in-law will be denied visa to come. Then you should be the one to do the omugo. All right? Nobody will help you here. Nobody saying your papa. So you should learn how to adjust so that you are not, because you are not longer in Nigeria where the culture favors you. But you are in a country where the culture doesn't care who you are. So you have to adjust and play by the culture where you find yourself in order to keep your family together. Because if you don't do that, you are heading to divorce. And that was why, and that was why I made mention of divorce. Because these are the kind of things. There was a video of a lady that was grabbing her husband. She was the one hitting on her husband, crying, calling 911. She was on phone, calling 911, crying, not knowing that her son was doing the recording. She called 911, police came.
Yeah. And what you're saying is true because there's another video coming up. So you might want to hold off on that so that you will. Yeah, thank you so much. I'm going to go to Man of Prestige. Man of Prestige, welcome to the show. You're next, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, good evening. I just found out you're all on the platform, although I just got back. So
there was sir.
I don't know exactly what the subject is, but if I have to go
we just played a video, and before you go on that video, Electricity, could you please play the last video before you leave? Thank you. So that way we can all grab it on together.
I have heard again, they have told me again, that 85 to 90% of Nigerian nurses in America are single mothers. They said because when they become nurses, their husband is not more good enough for them. They want they're higher than their husband. They want to now live independently. I don't know if there's a WhatsApp group or there's this group that they used to join. That once they join it like that, their shoulder will go up. Let me go into this story real quick. This one that they use as example for me. They said this man drives Kabi, he drives Uber, right? And he brought his wife from Nigeria. That's what I'm saying. Even the ones that they married themselves here, or they brought themselves from Nigeria, it's always the same thing. He brought his wife from Nigeria, and when the wife came, he said the wife must go to nursing school. He sent his wife to nursing school for 4 years. And during that time, he was the one paying mortgage, he was the one paying utilities, he was the one paying all the bills, he was still funding the wife's schooling. on top of it, because the wife did not qualify for some loans, but they got some, but they still have to pay out of pocket for some of them. So he was still the one paying, and he was still giving the wife allowances every week or every month and all that, just for wife to graduate, and she thought she had arrived. Moti arrived, Joe. I'm now a nurse. I cannot be dating a man that is driving Kabi. The man was driving Kabi when you came home. The man was driving Kabu when you met him. The man was, because Kabu was not enough, the man had to take a night shift of security, making 2 jobs, just for his wife to graduate in nursing school. Wife, graduate school, nursing school, talking the wife, wife now said, no, you are no more good enough for me. That was why the wife said, no, you cannot date him again.
Thank you so much. Mind of prestige. Hell, Chineke Nandi, aka Nos. Oh Lord, I don't like speaking on this subject.
But let me say something. What is this thing about the nurses? I mean, it's not like they make the most money.
You won't understand. You won't understand.
No. What is this epidemic we have about people?
Jesus Christ!
I'm trying to understand this nursing toxicity we have, in reference to Nigerian women. Yes. I mean, it's not like maybe they work 2 shifts, 3 shifts, make some reasonable amount of money. It's not like they make.
Okay,
go ahead.
Let me give you let me say so that you understand. This is the problem I have. We have great nurses of Nigerians. They have even association, they have club, they have whatever. And we have MPs, great, intelligent, they know their job, they are focused, everything. But this is the problem I have. Some of them tend to live above their income. And I say one thing, I'm saying this, maybe I'm old school. Social media is the worst thing that happened to this generation of nurses. Someone will go online, Facebook, you see them. That's why you can never, all this social media nonsense, I don't have time for it. They will be keeping up with who is not keeping up with them. Nurses,
with the Jews, right?
Yes, a lot of our nurses, you see them in night shift. You see them, a lot of them work more than they live in the home they live in. They always live above their income because they believe that, oh, I'm an RN, I'm this, I'll earn this. But they forget one thing. You have to be healthy to enjoy those wealth you are accumulating. And I have to be fair to make a balance here. Why is it that a lot of our men, if they want to marry now, they are looking for nurses? Is it that everybody wants to marry nursing? Is nursing the only job in America? So
I think nursing is easily. Like we have a lot of nurses in Nigeria already. So nursing is easily to assimilate and come here, and get a job right away.
But man of prestige, if you want to be honest, like my brother always say, nurses back home, their records are bad.
Right.
They are not good. Their records are not good at all. You won't see a man get up back home and say, I want to go marry a nurse. Those that marry and they will fight the part to come here. No, let's say the way it is. I'm not acting nursing, because I'm just saying it the way it is. And they come here, they file those papers. She says something which we all need to pay attention to. We have a lot of nurses, African nurses, who are single mom because they feel they can do it all. They're making a certain amount. They don't need the man. And I always tell people, no matter how much you earn, if Kamala Harris is married, and that man is a man, trust me, there's nothing like robbing a man at night. That pillow will not give you that comfort. So let's be realistic.
Tell them, madam, tell them.
Yes, let's be realistic, because all this thing about nursing, let's be realistic. You're lying to yourself. So I think this is one thing I hate that is happening to nursing. We are trending when it comes to men who kill their wife. There's a video. I'm going to leave the link in a private chat. This man has posted in a month 3 nurses that were killed. One happened is always in Texas.
Yeah.
Texas. If I had a run in Azules, that's it. They're always catching up with who is not catching up with them. So all I'm saying is, I'm not saying that nursing is a bad profession. All I'm saying is this: cut your coat according to your size, make your family a priority, because guess what? When all is said and done, you go home to something. If you feel good going home to an empty house, good for you. But one thing I want you to understand: if you think nursing is bad, trust me, we have career women who earn a whole lot that not they're not even nurses, are not even close to their level, and they are humble. So why is it that trending in our social media is always Nigerian nurses? They killed this one did this one said I don't need a husband. So man of prestige, that's the conversation. Pick it up from there, sir.
Okay, thank you very much. You have elaborated a lot. I think I will look at it. I mean, Ekene has spoken, but Ekene is kind of with his muscular toxicity, So that's I know Ekene for that. So you can't just blame the women for all. I think it's both ways. It goes like a lot of us go back to Nigeria. We marry women, to come here and slave for us. So that play a part to it. I'm not just saying the men are in our fault all the time. Women are contributing to it. I mean, they don't have this kind of privilege they have here, because the law in this country favor them. I mean, when you go to Rome, you behave like Rome. So it doesn't really matter. You can't say because you're Nigeria, you have to be, because there's no law in Nigeria. Law, wherever it is, the culture favor the men. So here, the law favor the women. So the men has to adjust about the situation.
Man of prestige, are you still there?
I think we lost him. He just went mute. Hmm.
Righteous man.
No, I don't. I think righteous man he has slept. Is righteous man there?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, now you're back on.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened. I'm just laying down. So I don't know where I stopped, but I was just saying the problem is both sides. Both sides. It's not just the men or the women. Like I was saying, some men go to Nigeria just to marry. I don't know what kind of job. Whether they have a job, they just marry women to come here and slave for them, and and make money. So, and when you come here, you become so wise because the law, protect the women more than the men here when it comes to those kind of stuff. So then wise up, and you don't expect them to become, to be what they are when they was in Nigeria. I mean, their attitude has to change. They have to abide to them, but some of them take it to extreme, like say, I don't need a man. What can you do for me? I mean, you can't say that in this country. It's very, it's difficult to get men, in this country. So you have to be able to keep what you have. I'm not saying it doesn't matter which other party matters. So that's my point. It's a very complex situation. So we can't just easily come here and blame the women, but they play a very big part. So somebody say when they come here, their head become too big. They want to be the husband. No, a very nice woman wouldn't do that. We still play the role of a woman. A man will still play the role of a man, but it take two. It takes two to survive in this country, regardless, depending on your stature or what you want to obtain, But I always believe that before I can get married, I should be able to take care of the family. So I look at my wife, whether it's make more than me or it's close to, it's a supplementary. So I'm the man in charge. When I say I'm the man in charge, that doesn't mean I have to control her. So it's mutual understanding on what we have to do. So the culture there, I don't know. I don't know what we can do to minimize this situation we have, particularly the African women or the Nigerian women per se. I mean, every day. I mean, I hear a lot of stories here in California, in Florida, women, men and women buying their partner. I mean, has become so epidemic right now. Uh, I don't know. It's something to think about, maybe some
Thank
education.
you.
Yeah.
Thank you. I just want to say something. There's someone, Be Nice, is on the comment section, and whoever the commenter is, she said, we have a lot of nurses who are breadwinners, and whoever the commenter is so right. This is one thing I want to say to everybody. I want our listeners to understand. This is not a show to bash anybody. All we are saying, we are going to make it fair. And Ekene says something that when our women come here, they become in what position, they now think they are the men because they earn a certain bracket of income, and you have here where the law favors them compared to back home. So, and he said something that we all need to listen to. America doesn't care how much you earn. Two of you have to make it work in order for that family unit to work out. Whether you want to humble yourself, or I always tell people, whichever one you choose, America will help you promote it. If you say you don't want to humble yourself, America will say, I will help you not humble yourself. You will find yourself where those people that don't humble themselves find themselves. At the end of the day, my advice to everyone is, it takes two to tango, and it takes two to create a family. If you know you're not ready for something called family, don't dive into it. My concern as a mother and as a woman and someone in healthcare, nurses trending, I'm tired of it. Nursing, 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 nursing. And I always say this, why is it that, why is it's always nursing? Can't we hear something else? It's always nursing. But at the end of the day, I come to realize one thing. Our people put more money a lot of the time before themselves. A lot of our women, including men, a lot of our men are overworked. But I always tell people, always put your peace of mind above any income. There's nothing opening up your door. I was running late to this show and I opened up my door. My dog, she just follows me around. I'm like, she's driving me crazy. And she starts following, like looking at me. There is nothing like peace of mind. No matter how much you earn, you want peace of mind when you come home. And we need to realize one thing. Home is far away from us. So at the end of the day, if you come to this country and you say you want to be this, America is a land of whatever you want it to be. So let us remember one thing. If you die today, you're not going to die with your profession. Your legacy is what lives on. So I just want to remind our women, take our time for yourself. Communicate with your spouse. Do not do more than yourself. And all these men marrying the nurses, don't go and be carrying projects and tell your wife you'll be taking these shifts. Let's finish the project. You too, if you think it's easy being a nurse, Igakwa nursing school. You go to nursing school and become a nurse. We have a lot of our men who are nurses, or great nurses at that. But where they nurse well is when they come to home wine. Those that know what I'm saying, they know what I'm saying. So at the end of the day, we need to be realistic. I'm just tired of us trending when it comes to social
Can I say something like that, man?
Yes, go ahead, sir.
Yeah, I mean, you just made a very correct statement about what he said, because I heard this story. I think it was, I don't know if anybody here heard about this story. It was this nurse in New Jersey. I've forgotten her name. I mean, she died, in her home, and she was there for almost about 2 or 3 days before they find her body. But the problem is that she worked all the time. I mean, she's single now. I mean, I think she's like, she was like about 50 or whatever. Yeah, but she was working all the time, 2 or 3 jobs. Nobody see her. She does not have time for herself. It just work, 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 work. And she died from a very simple complication if she has taken care of herself. So that goes to show exactly what he was talking about. You have to take care of yourself. Everything is not about money, money, money. I mean, it's good to make money, but you have to be very wise, in doing that.
Thank
So
you.
can I
Yes,
weigh in on this?
go ahead, Ekene. You can go in.
Okay.
Let me make sure Ed is there.
So
Ed, do you have something to say before I go to you, Ekene? Ed, do you have something to say?
Let's again go ahead first.
Okay, good. Thank you.
okay. So Adam, I will start off from where you ended your speech, that some men are good in nursing wine. And I agree with you. And I think it's a good thing for a man to know how to nurse wine. Because if we don't, the same wine you will be shouting, oh, we don't know how to nurse them. So it's good to know how to do that. But the thing is, like somebody said it here, that some of these men, and I will center my talk on Nigerian men, they tend to run to Nigeria to marry nursing students or nursing girls or nurses, bring them to America to become nurses because of money, not because of love. And my definition of love is very different. When it comes to love, I think it's all centered on respect and concerns, for one another. You respect one and you show concern over one's life, life in general. I don't think you may want to even think of buying the person, because some of these men, they will go marry them, come for money making, so that she will become his money making machine. And when he is disappointed, or when his aspirations are not forthcoming, he becomes so angry, and before you know it, he buy the person. Let's even assume that she provoked you, or she caused. What kind of provocation that would lead to you taking up arm to hurting the person you call your wife, or the person you call the mother of your children? I don't think there is that stand love in India in the first place. Now, I don't want to blame the men alone, because in as much as we are blaming the men, some of these women are even doing too much. Just a few months ago, or a month ago, the UK Metropolitan Police had to urge Nigerian women to stop calling police on their men, or to stop sending their men out of the house. For the police to stand up and now begin to defend the men is becoming out of it, like too much. Now, you said something about some of these nurses not taking care of their homes or making noise because of the chickeny money they make. And it is true, because they say that empty vessel make the loudest noise. Because and I stated here last time that some of these victims, because I call them victims, when they were back home, they're from a very poor background. They come here, they started making small money, that they will change it and it will be in millions. Their head will swell up. And maybe their husband is not making as much as they are making. Forgetting that this man is the person that actually stood by you, supported you to become that nurse that you are today. And then you turn around and start messing up, start disrespecting him. Because you've gone out there, mixed up with some akatikolo, some women that have decided to rake their homes, and they want you to be in their group. They talk to you, tell you what your rights are that you don't even know that you have. And you come home with your swollen shoulder, you want to prove to the man that now you know your rights. You flex those rights and the man send you away, or you go to divorce and you pack and go, leaving the children to suffer. Because whether you like it or not, the real people receiving this nonsense are the children. They either grow up without their father or without their mother. They either grow up, or they will grow up in a family that are not together. The father's influence is not there 100%. The mother's influence is not there 100%, even if the mother is the one with sole custody of the children, because now she has to work extra to taking care of these children. So she will be absent in their life growing up, especially in their formative stage. And now, what are we going to do about this? How are we going to educate our people to know that it is not all about money? It is not all about positions. That the day you made up your mind to marry this man is that day that you surrender whatever authority that you think you have under his. The day you made up your mind to marry this woman is the day you now decide to have her own comfort, our own happiness to come before yours. And maintaining these two responsibilities from both ends will give you a happy home. And if any of you is lagging on his responsibility, You, the man, loving your wife, making her comfort to come before yours. And you, the woman, surrendering your authority for this man. Any of you that refuse to do this, you are simply jeopardizing not just your happiness, but that very household. Even if you don't have children, you will find out that it is in this America that once you are divorced, those men that were coming for you when you are still under the roof with your husband, when you are still married, telling you how beautiful you are, how they are going to take care of you, and you
Thank you.
wreck your home, those men are going to abandon you. And before they abandon you, they will pass you around like football. When they finish passing you around, you end up growing old alone in the house, and it is not good for your health.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Eken. I respect what you said, and at the same time, I just want to say something. Marriage is not a do or die affair. So we need to stop making it like marriage is a do or die affair. So at the end of the day, you need to live for yourself first before your children. You cannot give what you don't have. So I don't believe in people staying in marriage all in the name of children. Please, let's be honest to ourselves. So at the end of the day, let's be realistic. If you know you're not getting, we're not here saying, oh, women do this and men do this. It takes two to tango. And if you know you wake up tomorrow, that person you're tangling with, you can't tangle with each other, please don't stress that person. Like Chimamanda said, we have so many beautiful people in the world that can put up with you. It doesn't have to be that one person. And it's up to you to find that person. And at the end of the day, I rather choose that option than someone killing me, all in the name of I refuse to be with them, or I say I don't want to do it again. So if in there were my sister, welcome to the show. Can you please unmute? Ed, after Ify, I'll come to you, okay? Thank you. Ify, are you? Yeah, Ndewo.
Good evening, guys. I just got here. I think I had a little bit of what you guys, we're talking about. This not open us, right? The nurse one. Okay.
No, so when the nurse ne trend, the nurse.
So let me ask you guys, what do you think average nurse, depending on the state where you are or where you live, what do you think average nurse makes per annum?
Well, you're saying LPM more makwara because a man these days only on a makwara. If you please tell us.
No, let's concentrate on RN. That's more of a nurse. LPN is
okay, yeah, that's what I mean. Without overtime. I mean just your 3 days.
Okay, I can give you
no, Mazi Prince, you're not want to because you're in California.
No, I'm in two. Wait a minute. I'm in two states. I live in Adama. I live in two states.
Oh, so even in Florida, even Florida.
Yes.
We
have a house in Florida.
How much? Yeah. How much?
So I can give you a ballpark. So it's in Florida. It's like about 60, 59, 60.
Thank you.
In California, it's about 80.
Okay, all right. So that's your gross, right? That's not even your net. So when people, talk about this issue of nurses, I mean, sometimes I get so irritable about that because nurses don't make money. If you don't work at least 5 days a week as a regular bedside nurse, you're not gonna make no money.
God bless
if you. Don't work 5 days a week. For you to go to, listen, let me tell you, as a new nurse, when I graduated, that was about almost 14 years ago, right? My starting pay was $26 and some change. So my first paycheck as a nurse, I'm just telling you, is about $1,200 and maybe almost $1,300. And guess what I did? I used it and I gave it to as my fruit or whatever they call it of seed. Anyway, that was fruit. I took everything and gave to RCCG. So imagine, and mind you, that's a 6 shift. 36, 30, 72 hours of work. The reason why I'm saying this is this. The only reason people even talk about nurses is because they sleep at work. I have friends that are doctors, pharmacists, they're not making noise. They don't sleep at work. just like nurses. Doctors, they don't even these doctors here even talking. Ada, let me tell you something. Let us be realistic. When I used to do 2 hospitals, right? I would go here and say, Dr. Smith, what brought you here? If you what brought you here? They are jungling from one hospital to another. How much
God bless you. Yes, my
even
sister,
a family physician, how much did they make? They don't make that much. But this issue of nurses is because they will work 5 days a week, 6 days a week, 7 days a week, just to make money. When you're talking about, people buying their wives and all that stuff, I think I've said this to you before, Adama. My cousin was one of them. He actually went to jail. I told that story.
Yes, you have.
Today, guess what? That the same wife did not stop. She be starting, or she already started her residency somewhere in Arkansas, because she did not stop. So when you talk about marrying a nurse, there is nothing wrong with you going to nursing school. I don't think there is anything wrong. If you truly want to marry a nurse, go to nursing school. I remember what my friend told me here, Queen. She's in Maryland. She said the day she stopped doing overtime was the day her husband came back from work and asked her, she didn't go to work. She said no. She said, why? Is there no overtime? That was the day she stopped overtime. She said,
what?
Yes.
I can't believe that.
Is there no overtime? She said, Ify, that was the day I stopped working overtime. Mind you, they both came here together. Both of us studied accounting in UNN, and she came here and went to nursing school. So why did her husband not go to nursing school? I don't have no problem you marrying somebody, but don't let that person be your bank account, your ATM. Don't let anybody, including man or woman, be your ATM. Husband and wife, regardless of who you are, what your profession is, you're supposed to do things together, right? But don't go marry somebody because of their profession. I've seen it.
But Ify, why you're saying that, I just want you to be realistic. Why is it that we have a lot of single nurses in the diaspora?
Okay, let me tell you something. I have a couple of friends that are single, not by choice, but just because the issue their husband brought them from Nigeria, and now wants them to, I will be in charge of the account, or I will be the one running the house while you go to work. One of them, her husband is a CNA.
That's ATM. ATM.
Okay? And this man opened his mouth and told this girl, anytime we start joint account, that will be the end of the marriage. She called me the other day and said, all this thing this man is talking, let me show you his paycheck. I said, CNA. He's not even making up to 600, 600, and 700, 4 weeks. He's not even making up to 3,000 with overtime a month. But this woman is constantly pulling out 4,000 every 2 weeks. That's 8,000, right? You went and got a brand new truck. You did not agree with your wife. The money you got from income tax, you use it and made a down payment. You did not agree with your wife. It must be your way. If it is not your way, it's not going to happen. Why? Oh, I brought you here. I know the reason why I brought you here. This is what a grown man is telling a young girl who he's 56 and this girl is about 38. Or he's 58. So what am I trying to say? In every marriage, there is an agenda. If I come to marry Adama now, Adama comes to marry me, there is an agenda. It's either for love or for financial benefit. It should be there for one. So we need to stop this. There is no money in nursing. If you don't work 5 days, you're not taking nothing home. Go do your 3 days. Cut your coat according to your size. You must not carry Chanel purse. You must not drive Mercedes. You must not drive Range. That's the reigning thing now. You cannot afford it. My uncle said something. When you start relying on overtime, that means you are living above your means.
If you can ask something, I had people in Georgia, in Atlanta, if you don't drive Mercedes, you all are nothing.
Man of
That's what
God, Atlanta is good. Go to Texas, then you can talk.
I don't know
they
about.
only drive Mercedes. They don't drive BMW or any other car. I said, what is it about? Go ahead, if I just want to know what
Let
I
me
know
tell you
about.
something. I call it poverty mentality. When you are paying a car note, you will have to work 5 days in order to pay a car. You are living above your means. So why should people be bent on, I must work 5 days in order to live in a big house that you don't even sleep in? You have a house here, you are paying a mortgage, you are building a house in Nigeria that you're not even sleeping in. And your husband, the same girl, told her husband, oh, we're going to build a house in the village. Why can't you build a house in the village? Why did you come and marry the girl? You should have done all these things before you came and married the girl. So, I mean, I'm not trying to defend anybody, but we have to understand we have one life to live. I know we have to support people back home. Sometimes you listen to them. We have a lot of responsibilities. But let me tell you something. If we are not here, the people back home must surely survive, with or without you. When my father passed, I thought all of us gonna buy. But today all of us are alive, healthy. None of us buy. Because it feels like without him, we will not survive. Everybody survived. And we are still surviving. So let's leave this notion of nurses. You can never hear doctors, or pharmacists, or IT. IT is even make more money than nurses. And you still don't hear them. The only difference, working as you can always get a job anywhere. If you quit your job today, you find another one tomorrow. That is it. Other than that, they're not making anything. You say 60-something thousand. By the time you finish paying your tax, it might be 40-something, to go home. Your net this thing. What is 40-something thousand in America at this point? If you have a mortgage, you have children.
Thank you so much. Your point makes a whole lot of sense.
Stop all this nothing thing, I beg.
No, if I say it's pilots now, I've told everybody, respect yourself. Cut your coat according to your size. Stop trending with who is not trending with you. Focus on who you married. Focus on that person. That Amaka bought wig of $2,000 does not mean you too have to wear wig of $2,000. What Amaka do, you can't do it. The one name, welcome to the show, please, your next. Righteous Man, are you there? I've not heard you, sir. Ed, hold on. Righteous Man, are you there? Ed, go ahead, sir. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I think thank you, Ify, for actually bringing some level of insight into this whole nursing thing. I think what people are really interested in when it comes to nursing is just the flexibility and job security to an extent that they can always get a job. It's not necessarily, although some people might be under the wrong impression that nurses earn a lot. But I think
Ed, yes, can I say something? You need to listen to what Ify said. There is something called a 12-hour shift, 7 A to 7 P. So after that, you make your schedule, you can pick up extra hours. And a lot of African nurses, let me not say most African nurses, like working night shift because you get paid more working nights. So I am of the opinion I don't like working nights. If you have young children, don't do it. It's not worth it. Because as a woman, you need to be present. There are things men cannot do. Like you as a mom, you need to, if you have kids like mine that grew up playing, they're involved in athletic games, after school programs, you want to be engaged in those things. And not just that, we have programs where nurses can work 8 to 5. But this is the problem we have, Ed. A lot of our men, let's say the way it is, they want nurses. You see them weekend, all the whole party, and their woman, if you ask them, where's your wife? Oh, no. So if you know what I'm talking about. So we're not saying this to make men feel bad.
No. I'm just trying to say, because I don't want to make it personal. I'd actually dated a nurse. She was actually a nursing student then, just about to graduate before. Yeah, although we didn't marry. But the point I'm trying to make is that some men there are some men that maybe are.
Ed, I'm interested. You didn't complete the sentence. What happened to that relationship?
We didn't marry. I don't know.
Was it because she was a nurse? Like
No, not at all. Not at all. There were other issues that just did not make it work. So I'm not married to a nurse today. But I think, like, from my own perception, okay, let me just be as plain as possible. So I I studied here. I did my undergrad in Nigeria, came here, did my graduate school, and so there was this, at the point where I realized, okay, I'm going to get married. It was, I mean, there are two reasons why I actually wanted to marry a nurse. The first thing was, I wanted someone that when we married, this whole idea of looking for a job, and that kind of prevents us from being able to live together. I didn't want that. So a nurse was really like, okay, this person can get a job in most places. So while I'm still studying, if we get married, it will be easy to relocate. Or maybe when I get a job, it can be easy to relocate, unlike most other jobs. Like if you marry an engineer, you need to have like an engineering firm close to you. Yeah, and secondly, for me, I've always been attracted to the field of medicine. I actually wanted to study medicine. So I'd always wanted to marry someone in the healthcare sector, just because I really have a lot of respect, and it's something like, maybe it's just like my personal inclination to want to have some. I like to talk to people in that medical field. But it didn't happen, and I didn't marry a nurse, even though I married someone that's also in the health line. But that's for that. As for why this whole issue of men, buying the African women they bring, I think a lot of this. I don't want to accuse one particular side of really being maybe the culprit or the victim. It depends. You have to analyze situations on a case by case basis. It is true that maybe some women, they come into this country, and when they come, they get used to the system and decide to, because they are in a place where they are more financially stable, they make demands that their husband might not be able to meet. That's one side of the story. Another side of the story is that some men actually go into these relationships with nurses, especially the ones they bring from Nigeria, as a way to secure their financial future. So it's like you're outsourcing your financial future to a woman. That would definitely backfire. I've seen guys who came to the country and they don't do things to improve themselves, and they just decide, okay, let me go and marry from Nigeria, bring the woman, this woman starts working and making money, and that secures the family. I just feel like that's a very wrong approach for any man to do. I've seen cases like that. I personally, at the time, I told myself I was not going to go to Nigeria. And this was the reason. When you start talking to a girl in Nigeria, and I'm not saying this is always the case, it's hard for someone talking to you and seeing that you are in the United States of America, not to have this very rosy vision of what she's coming into. But I knew myself, I was just a graduate student, a bloody graduate student.
Quick pushback, Ed.
Okay.
The same way you're thinking that way, I'm looking at it that you were also calculating when you were thinking at the time you were planning on getting married, that you're looking at, the nurse, the schedule of work and all that. You were also calculating the transaction. That's how I see it.
No, but it's not necessarily a transaction. It was an honest, even the Bible says that when you want to be involved in a task, you have to really be to assess the situation. So for me, it wasn't because I was going to rely on the woman's finances. I wanted someone who would raise kids together, who would have a family life together.
So Ed, can I ask you a personal
he
question?
has to be a nurse, right?
No. He said he's not saying. Doctor, you're not listening to what he said. He said he likes people in healthcare. My question for Ed is,
that's been calculating, in my opinion.
No, you're not listening to my concern for you, Ed.
At all.
Ed, my question for you is, you are here in the diaspora.
Mm-hmm.
Is it that you didn't see women among where you are that you?
I'm married to someone that I met in the US, so I was there.
Smart guy.
No, I was married. I'm saying that I had to make that decision at a point because first, I mean, I was dating someone before I came to the US, and that relationship ended almost immediately I came, because I mean, I don't want to go into the details of it. So I didn't have anybody that I knew that I could say, okay, this is someone I know in Nigeria that I would just go back to and say.
So Ed, sorry, we're not putting you on the spot. Doctor said you are being calculative. Why is it that our men, why do you think, being that you've been in that position, why do our men seek for spouses back home instead of looking at around the area where they've lived and shop? I believe in shopping in where your shop around where your family, right? Like your area.
I agree with you. But I think it's also two ways. Some men actually just want someone that's traditional. They have this thinking that, any woman that's lived in the West is too open-eyed for them, or maybe they just have this idea of what a westernized woman would be. So, but for me, it got to a point I told myself, I mean, I don't know any woman in Nigeria, that I would go say I want to establish a relationship with. And in my mind, I don't want, the moment you start talking to a woman in Nigeria, and I'm not trying to use this to paint a broad brush of all women in Nigeria. There are some that are really, they're really worth going back to Nigeria for. But for me, it was like, I was just a bit careful not to, because people have perceptions of what you are in America. But I know where I was. I was just still going to school, and, I just didn't want to kind of maybe start establishing a relationship with someone in Nigeria. And that person had expectations of the kind of life they were coming to in America. So, but by God's grace, it worked out that I found someone in Nigeria. In the United States. But I won't blame people who want to go to Nigeria, but I think most, or maybe some of the time, is just this whole issue of some men, they, especially the ones that go to bring their wives to come and train, is if you're not developing yourself and you're wanting to depend on a woman to help you secure your financial future, that's wrong. But having said that, I still feel there is there could be a valid reason for people to want to go to Nigeria. The first thing, I mean, I don't want to really, divert the topic. We also know that, especially for us that studied here, when you're a young guy studying here, you meet Nigerians, Nigerian Americans, and all of that. And you probably, you have a future. If you're studying here, I believe you know what you want in life. And you start relating to some of the ladies that are born here, and the first thing they start thinking is, okay, maybe this person just wants to use me to get paper. So a lot of guys, it is true.
You see why? You see, Ed, you can see you're calculating.
I'm being honest.
What I'm saying is, yes, we're being honest. You're calculating, and I'm not blaming you for that.
I'm saying what people think. You are trying to accuse me. I'm not saying what I did. I'm saying some guys would go to Nigeria because of the frustration. I have friends who probably tried to marry or tried to date the African or Nigerian ladies around them. And the whole idea that these ladies have, probably because that's what they've heard is that, oh, this the first thing they want to ask is, oh, just say get paper. It's just not paper they look for. So because of that, some guys just get frustrated because like it gets to the point you really realize who you are. Maybe you are studying to get a PhD and you know that you have a future. So should you now have to now be like bending yourself over backwards to impress a girl that's your intention is genuine? So some guys just like, to hell with it, let me go to Nigeria and look for someone. So those are some dynamics. I mean, I've gone through this because I've gone through, I mean, I've studied here for a long time. Now I'm done with my studies. So I've seen all of this play out. So this is not necessarily my life experience because, as I said, I didn't marry someone from Nigeria. I married a Nigerian, but we met here, if that makes sense.
Thank you so much for answering the question. Uncle KJ, I'm going to go to you. What is your opinion about nurses?
Adana, could you please send the link?
I'll send it. The link has been sent. Yes, it's been sent. Uncle KJ, what is your opinion about nurses? Why do you think our nurses are trending in United States? I mean, what do you think is the problem? Uncle KJ, are you there? I'll go to Ekene next to you.
Yeah, actually, I was a little absent. I don't know. Are we still maintaining the topic?
We're maintaining the topic about nurses. Why is our nurses trending? Why do you think our women are singles? Why do we have a lot of single nurses? And why is it that our men are not, they want to marry a particular set of people? So that's what the question is, yes.
Okay, actually, the idea or the notion that some men or most men...
Ekene, sorry for interrupting you. Before you speak, did you hear what Ed said? Ed said for him that went to school here and met his wife here. So for him, you know, when you want to date a woman here, I know what Ed is talking about. Women will like, you're marrying me because you need papers. And I was asking him, why do our men go back home to marry? You know, so can you elaborate on that? Why do our men feel that the men marrying them here? I was one person that felt that way as well. Like, you're marrying me because you want to get your papers. And I always say to people, and when I had two friends who married, and I said, whether you give that person the paper or not, God will always put that person, God is using you to make sure that person has their status here. So why do you think our men go back home to marry? Now, this is the spine, the spinal, I'm throwing on the wheel. Why do you think our men go back home to marry instead of looking at the environment where they are to marry someone from there? So you can pick it up from there. Thank you, sir.
Okay. The idea of men going back to Nigeria or going back home to marry, I think is on a personal basis. Because some men would think that the women back home are more modest, more respectful, and maybe somewhat innocent. So they tend to marry those that can still give them some level of respect, or those that can live modestly. That idea, I think, is very wrong, because most women or some women back home are as bad as the women here, if there is anything like that. So if you are running away from the bad eggs here, because of that, you go home to marry a village girl that you can control. Some of them are baddest men. So you better, the best thing for you is to look from within your environment. There are a lot of good girls here that you can marry, very innocent, very modest, and respectful girls here that you can marry. But this is it. When you're talking about men trying to marry some category of women.
Could you please hold on for 1 second? I have someone on the backstage. Emi Locon, I can't bring you in. Your device is saying that something, so I can't bring you in. Could you please go out and try to come in again? Then I'll bring you in. Thank you, sir. Sorry for interrupting you.
Yeah. So because men tend to go for certain category of women, and especially nurses, it's solely because of money that they are making. I don't think nurses are making money. If I want to marry a woman because of the money that she's making, I should go for medical doctors. Matter of fact, not all medical doctors.
You are you a medical doctor? Which medical doctor will allow you toaster? You are you a doctor?
Hold on now. We've seen medical doctors that marry taxi drivers. We've seen medical doctors that marry Uber drivers. We've seen medical doctors that even married what they call them.
And they're Nigerians, right?
Yes. So the thing is,
where did you see that?
Honestly,
hold on now. Hold on.
Tell me now.
Hold on. Are you saying that medical doctors only marry medical doctors in this country? Is that what you're saying? Because I would disprove you. I have my own. Oh, hold on. No. I have my own personal experience. So nobody would kind of talk me out of it. I have my own. Hold on now. So if I want to marry a woman because of the money she's making, I honestly I will not go for a nurse, because there are women that have better jobs and make better money. So, and I think those men that go for women because of how much they are making are deadbeat men. They are hopeless men. That are men that don't believe. I mean, when you are very hopeless, you don't even believe that you can make something out of your own hands. So you only believe on another person. And I don't think a well-bred man, a man, should even go for a woman because of money, because of how much she's making. Because you are meant to take care of this woman. You are meant to provide for her, not to milk her. So if you see any man centered on marrying a woman because of how much she's making, that man is a barawo, onyoshi, criminal. He's a wicked fellow. Because what he will simply do at the end of the day is to turn her to his slave, milk her, and maybe at the end of the day, dump her for another woman. Go back and marry one village mumu that he can control. So the thing is, when it comes to marriage here, I'm talking about America. I think people marry because of to complement each other. Complement in the sense that you know how this country operates. If you want to live as a tenant in this house, in this country, renting an apartment, you just become a slave for the rest of your life. So, and a nurse, let me even make it very clear, a nurse, like new grad nurse that is working bedside, cannot even buy a house in this country. She can't even afford to buy a house. She must be making 6 figures plus before she can even afford maybe 200 or 250,000 house, in this country. So she herself need a man that is making as much as she is making, or even more than she is making, to even afford the kind of house she wants to live, or the kind of life or luxury she wants to, experience. And you, the man, you also need that. So nobody wants to suffer. Nobody wants to be error in this country. So if you are now saying that men marry nurses because, it depends on the kind of life he wants to live. Maybe he's just looking for somebody that will complement whatever that he's making so that he'll be able to live a better life. And that is the honesty in this country, unless if we are trying to dodge from being truthful. However, what I'm saying in essence is marriage should not be dependent on money or position. I myself, I prefer happiness. I prefer rest of mind. I cherish respect and I give respect. I have, back then in school, had a lot of them, medical doctors and all that. And if I should sit down to choose, I prefer somebody that wasn't even a nurse at all. At all. Because she respects me more. She gave me that respect that I want. She knows that she's my wife, that she's my woman. So in this America, we have a fundamental problem. We as Nigerians or Africans in general, it is all about money. And that money is what is wrecking our homes. Money is what is making us not to know that we are the men in the house. Money is what is preventing us to understand that we are the father, we are the husband, we are the wives, we are the mothers. It's about money and positions. But if we can do away with all these things and know that I am human being, she is human being, I am her husband, she is my wife, he is my husband, I think we'll live better. Look at Asians. They make more money than us Africans.
Yeah.
But they don't have this high rate of divorce as we have here. Among us, the African Americans here, we have approximately 31% rate of divorce in the US.
Yeah.
I'm not even talking about UK. UK is now turning to not being disrespectful to African Americans. UK, when it comes to rate of divorce in UK, Nigerians are now becoming the African Americans in the UK when it comes to high rate of divorce. And it is all about money.
Yeah.
Adama, please, can I suggest something? Because
go ahead. Yes. Thank you, Ekene. Go ahead, Ed.
I touched briefly on something about, the kind of dynamic that occurs between Nigerians that come into the country and maybe Nigerian Americans. I don't know if maybe you want to have a separate discussion on that.
Yes, I've written it down in my diary. We're going to have a complete segment on that. Why is it women like us that grew up here? Yes, I am. I've written it down.
And again, I just want to say, I was very careful in what I was saying because I just didn't want to generalize some things. And also, I'm also a very private person. I don't want to reveal too much information about my own person.
No. That's okay, Ed. I really appreciate you.
So Tokpe was my case.
Leave Tokpe. I support what a lot of things Ekene said is so true, but at the same time, I want to bring something to Ekene's attention. All these people we reference, Indian, Asia. If you've worked with them and you socialize with them, for someone like me, I do. I don't see color. I don't see whatever. I don't care about this white, black thing. They have discussed with me their own issues in their own environment as well. When I tell them as Nigerian what we are dealing with, they'll say, oh, Adama, this is what we are dealing with in our own socials. So every culture has its own thing that we are dealing. The only difference is I think we are trending because I don't want to even go into that background. And Madam Luke, I want to go to you. Eminoko, I want to go. Welcome to the show. Madam Luke, you heard what we are saying. Thank you. You've been active on the chat. Over to you. Thank you, Mama.
Welcome, Madam Luke. Aneme.
Who's talking now? Who's time?
It's your turn, Madam Luke.
Oh, thank you.
She's asking who is talking. That was Tokwe that just spoke. This is Adama speaking, ma.
Adamado. Thank you so much, Madam Tokwe. Glad to see you feedback. She passed us for a minute. As soon as she heard no topic, she came back.
Madam, look, you're not so. I've told AB. AB is one of our active commenters in the chat. I want to, Madam Luke, hold on. I want to recognize those people that are active in our segment. We have Florence O, we have Quincy A, and we have AB, and who else? Emilio Cole. We have AB is one of them. Quincy A and Florence. These are one of our active people. Whenever the segment is on, they are always active. Wanted to give a shout out to AB, Quincy A, and Florence. Oh, thank you for always supporting our segments. We appreciate you. This love comes from Tokwe O, Electricity, and Adama. We appreciate you guys for always supporting us. AB, whether you like it or not, last, now nurse you go marry. I must make sure you marry a nurse.
Madam. Look.
Okay. All right. I heard everything that you guys were saying, and I was just laughing. And I just said, it's because it's such a personal topic to me, I wasn't even going to respond. Just like Mr. Electricity removed himself from the conversation of the deadbeats, I was going to remove myself from the conversation of the nurses because I've lived in this country for so long, and I graduated here in the United States, and I'm from the deep south. I'm in southern Georgia. So when you are saying all those things, I find it very hard to relate to all these things you're saying. First of all, there are nurses and there are nurses. Those you're import. First of all, I put myself through school, so ain't no man importing me from nowhere. So all these imported nurses that know these things, I don't see all these things people are talking about. So when they are trending, I don't know where they are trending from. I am dealing with lily. My department is dealing with lily white nurses and where there's no drama. But when it comes to our Nigerian homes, a bad marriage is a bad marriage. It doesn't necessarily mean whether you're a nurse or you're a doctor. Those things just play out in whatever settings you find yourself. Like I said, I put myself through school. Ain't no man putting me through nowhere. And when it comes to my money, I manage my money. There is no we. You keep yours and I keep mine. We just have joint bills that you pay, and that's it. So that everybody has their respect. So coming to this nursing of a thing, most of the problems you see are nurses that are coming from Nigeria. That is what I have seen here. So when I hear all those things, I'll say, oh, the man brought her in. The man brought her from Nigeria. The man brought her from Nigeria. Because these men are so timid, they cannot find women around here that they can pally with. So they have to go get somebody who they feel they can lord it over with and show them the ropes because those ones don't know how to drive. It takes them like 2-3 years for the women to catch up. So they're going to be handicapped for a while. Even reading the signs on the road is going to be a problem for a while. So the men are always going to be at an advantage because they feel they are useful and they can lord it over these women. And then when the women decide that, okay, they've caught up long enough, they now start feeling like, you know what? There's an equation that is not balancing up here. And then the problem starts. My question to the men that are complaining, when these women were going to school and doing all these things, what did you do to improve yourself? I cannot stay with a stupid man. I'm sorry. I cannot stay with a stupid man. A stupid man meaning when I'm working, you are pulling your hand. We have to be on the same path. We have to be on the same path. It doesn't mean that when I want to help, because there's no condition that is permanent. Sometimes you're up and sometimes you're down. So it doesn't mean that you all cannot help each other out when you are, at a disadvantage. But when you constantly stay down, I'm gonna drop you. I'm sorry. I don't have, like I said, I don't have time for stupid men. I don't have time for stupid women either, because I'm not a stupid person. If I'm successful, I expect you to be successful. So that is the way it is. So when you are looking for, and I've said it many times on this forum, I'm not a traditional babe. If you're the one that's going to tell me a man knows his place and a woman knows his place, you have no business in my house. I don't deal with such men. I want a man that I'm equal to. Read my lips. We are going to be equal. I believe in partnership. So don't come into my house and tell me a man knows his place, a woman knows. Hey, I'm not into all that. If you want that kind of woman, then you need to head to your village because that's not me. My mommy didn't do it, and I ain't gonna do it either. So it's gonna be mutual respect, and that is what I have in my home. That's what I have in my home. And when anybody gets tired, the door is open. You're free to leave. And people are saying, people like Mustafa is saying, "Oh, there ain't nothing wrong with a lonely bed. My bed has been crowded for so long that I appreciate getting a lonely bed once in a while." All right?
Look.
This bed has been crowded for so long. Trust me. I ain't missing nothing. So all I got is my good old rose. When I can't find the real thing, I got my rose. Okay? So you see, you have to find a way to make yourself happy. I'm not a materialistic person. All those things you are saying about driving a Benz, doing this one. I don't have time for those things. I spend most of my money on vacations. I don't have friends I compete with. I don't have Nigerians I compete with. So when people are saying all these things, they're very foreign to me because people are dealing with people from low income group. And when they come here, they feel that this little change they have is such a big deal. I wasn't raised like that. So when people are saying all those things, it's very, 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 very foreign to me. I'm not even going to talk about that graduate of a lawyer. I think people were calling him the health terrorist. I'm not even going to address that because all that is lies in Nigeria. And then that ruckus that was going on between that man and that woman, because let's face it, people will talk about culture. When a man and a woman fight in Nigeria, the first thing the woman does is to grab the man's shirt. It's the culture. That's how they communicate. So I don't understand what was the big deal
So
about it.
no, but madam, look, like you're saying is the culture. That is the culture. Does it make it right when you see a man is angry and he's walking away, and you have a woman grabbing the shirt, dragging herself through the stairs and screaming, "Otipami, madam, look, this is what I'm saying. If a man hits her, you know one thing they will say is assault.
Wait. Is that not what they do in Nigeria? Remove the fact that you're in America. Please, just remove that fact that you're in America. Is that not what they do in Nigeria? Every backyard you come out in your face to face. Is that not what they do? Even when the man is walking away, the woman is dragging his leg. That is the way they communicate. That's their culture. That's the way they behave.
But madam, look, I think that's the problem we're having. That is our culture doesn't mean it's right. There's something they say is if you're in Rome, act like you're in Rome. You come to the diaspora, you cannot. There's something my kids always say to me. I'm someone I grew up here. I brought everything. When I talk, they say, "Mommy, you're loud." Even to me, I don't even know I'm loud. So one day I was talking to my co-workers who were OR, and I said to them, and I want this segment, and when I play the segment for them to listen to, and they said they can pick up my voice. And I said, you know one thing my co-worker said? "Oh, Adama, you're so mad. Your tone changed." And I said, "What do you mean my tone changed?" They said, "When you're mad, your tone changed." So the thing I'm trying to say is, Madam, look, you said something that is so interesting, that our women grab the men's shirts when they're arguing or whatever back home. When you come here in the diaspora, when you put your hand physically on someone, if a man, let's revise the position. If a man was to put his hand on the woman physically and grab her shirts, Madam, look, the conversation we're having now is not a conversation we are going to have.
I get you. And I am telling you, you can bring somebody from Balogun, but you cannot take the Balogun out of the person. When these people revert to their cultural mode, do you think they know they're in America? Do you think they know they're in America? Just like when you're angry with your kids and then you just want to hit them. The American has left you. You have reverted to your default mode. That's what I'm trying to say. You are saying everything right, but do you think that person that is doing all that, do you think they realize that they're in America? They have gone back to Balogun or Idumota where they came from in their mind. They've totally lost it. And they have defaulted to manufacturers make.
Madam, please now.
No, but it's the truth. They have defaulted to the, you know, when you say you reset to factory mode, that's what they did. So when people were just saying, I was just laughing.
Okay, can I say something, madam? Look, if I may.
Yes, Uncle KJ, you can go ahead, sir. I saw Madam Mr. Kandu have left. Uncle KJ, after you, Eminoko will speak. Go ahead, Uncle KJ.
Okay, thank you so much, madam. Look, I appreciate, and I think I trying to understand where you're coming from, and I'm going to just treat it this way. You see, that's why most times before you marry, you have to see that both of you are almost at the same level of reasoning, understanding, and all that. And some of these things have to be taken into account. A proper agreement is reached. Because if those things are taken into account, then these things will not spring up. And as a Christian, one of the things that the Bible says do not be an equal yoke with an unbeliever. And sometimes people see it, the word unbeliever, and then they misinterpret it by thinking it's only when the person is not a Christian. No, it also means that the person you do not have the same understanding with. Also means that you, for instance, when I was back in Nigeria, I used to be in a church where if you want to marry and you're a medical doctor, for instance, and you go bring somebody who is maybe a diploma holder or even just a secondary school holder, the church will say no, that this cannot work. And the reason they give at that time is that your levels of understanding and reasoning are going to be a problem. Not even, you can be a businessman and making a lot of money, but because you don't have that, um, you know, a more trained way of thinking and understanding, you easily will run into a problem when it comes to your having to discuss in your house and coming to a full understanding. And so I'll give an example of myself. Before I got into university, I used to have a girlfriend who went into the University of Nigeria before me. And she would come back from school and she would tell me certain things, and I'll say, like, come on, man. I didn't understand that. I used to think, come on, this thing I'm talking about. So when eventually I got into this university the next year, I had to write her and say, look, I want to apologize because some of the things you are saying were actually the reality, but my understanding then could not help me to understand what you are discussing. Now, having gone through some of those courses and understand what you are talking about, I can make, a lot of sense out of what you are discussing. And why am I saying that? I'm giving an example of myself because that is how these things come out sometimes. Now, when a man in America who has lived in America for 20 years or maybe 10 years, and you're not able to meet somebody who is at your understanding, who have the same, lived in the same environment, I decide to go back to your community. I want to talk as a man. The reason why he's going back because he wants his children probably to understand and be able to speak his language. The reason he's going back because he cannot see somebody who he can marry here. But maybe somehow he thinks that when he goes to his community and picks a wife, that one be able to train his children to understand his language or their language or where they come from. But the situation is just like you said. Some of these people, because again they have not lived anywhere outside of Nigeria, when they come, they begin to calculate the money in naira. And when the money becomes a bit more, it becomes a problem. I work in a dealership, where most of what we sell are the exotic cars. But those people, the people who own the factory, the man who runs the whole stuff, he does not drive a Mercedes. He does not drive a Porsche. He does not drive a BMW, even though he had all of it, or a G-Wagon. He doesn't drive any of those. He comes and lives with his, Camry. And so one day I asked him, boss, why are you not driving? I mean, look at these cars. You can just pick them up and drive them. He just laughed. He called me and said, you know what? When I see people walk into this place and they want to pay a lot for these cars, I just imagine, I don't know what they want to do with it. Because, for instance, if you buy the new BMW, the bumper alone has about 6 cameras. That's 6 cameras alone. If something hits your bumper alone, for you to even get it, you are going to pay $1,500 alone for the cameras to be imported and not even installed, just the cameras alone. And so he wonders to himself why somebody want to put himself in that situation. And I'm saying this to say that, and he went ahead to tell him that most of the people who buy these cars are our people. They are our black brothers. They may not necessarily be Nigerians, but our black brothers. They spend all that money. He said, it's not good? It's good because that's how they make their business. But they sometimes think it's not necessary. You don't have to live your life to want to please anybody. If the car you're driving is working for you, why do you need to get into a car note just to impress people around your home? Some of these people buy these cars and they still live in mortgage. I mean, they still live in homes where they're paying rent. But let's put that aside. Let me come back to the real thing, which is this thing of the fact that, you said something interesting, that is our custom, is what they do in Nigeria. So my question will have been to you is, if they can apply the American system to bringing judgment against their husbands, and why then do they bring the Nigerian system? It should have been that Once you come to America, you adapt the new style of doing things here. And I'll end with this. Before I came to America, I was going to call my wife and family, and I have a friend who I worked, I was working for an American company before in Nigeria, and she called me and said, "Oh, I hear you're going to come to America. You're going to sit now." I said, "Yeah, we're planning about it." And she gave me two advice. One, she said, "America is built for women." I'm telling you what an American told me. In Nigeria, when we come, we see how you people relate. Okay, the laws seem to be a bit on equal sides. Here, when you come to America, you have to be very careful. You cannot hit your wife. You cannot even shout at a particular level because she calls the cops. You are going to be thrown out of the house. Whether it is your house or not, it does not matter. At that point, you're going to leave your house. Two, you have to also know that there is a way you cannot hit your son. If you hit your son and you call the police, you're going to get in trouble. So I'm just giving you a heads up. So you decide before you leave whether you want to come with her or you want to leave. Some of these things is a big strength to us, especially those of us in Nigeria. And I do not, encourage anybody who hits his wife or anything. But you need, as a man, to have self-control, irrespective of how angry and how upset you are. You also cannot be a man who does not want to work. Your wife is a nurse and she's doing 3 shift, 4 shift. The truth is that some people are just bad. If you like, do whatever I want to do for them. If they have decided to leave, it's okay. Just like I said earlier on, if you are married and your wife decides one time, say, I'm no longer in love. I want to walk. Sit, across the aisles and shake hands. That's okay. It was good while it lasted. Now everybody walks on. Okay, but the fact that it has to be do or die, and then you begin to, look for how to throw. The one I don't like, and I'll keep. Sorry, I'll end with this. I have an uncle, Uncle Joe. He lives in New York. While we were in secondary school many years ago, he had lived in the US for over 40 years. But guess what's happened? His wife began to plan because he's also a medical doctor and very successful medical doctor in the US here. Has a mansion. I mean, when I say mansion, you know how you Americans have big, big houses. Okay. Now he marries his wife, and the wife decides that the marriage wasn't going for her. And instead of walking away, she tried to push him to hit her. She tried everything possible to make him hit her. I didn't do that. Guess what? One day he because sometimes she doesn't cook. They have 3 children. Doesn't cook for the wife. The wife doesn't cook. So he comes and cooks. He normally make rice and beans for the children, which they love very well. So he made it and left to work. And by the time he came back, he realized that the beans and the rice had not been touched at all. And he was wondering, okay, why didn't the children eat the beans? So he wanted to take the beans and eat. But somehow when he was lifting the beans, so his man just said, "Don't eat these beans." So he took the beans and poured it away, and took the rice and also poured it away. And then the wife didn't come back with the children till the next day. Okay. Apparently, whatever she had put in it would have been able to kill him, because when he put it, their dog that was in the house, some that he gave the dog, the dog go see the maker. Okay. So when she came back, she was surprised, visibly surprised that he was, walking around the house as if nothing happened. She didn't understand what happened. But in any case, to cut the long story short, at this point he said he wanted a divorce. And when he filed, the woman went for the house. Okay. She insisted that the house must be given to her. She insisted that his resources have to be given 50-50%. So, against all odds, she won all that, what she wanted. Now, where am I going to? That guy became so devastated that, in fact, he thought of suicide. Because this is what he has worked all his life. Went back and brought a Nigerian from his own place. Okay, and this happened to him. So what am I saying is, people will always be people. People, no matter how nice you are to them, if they are planning to do you evil, they will eventually do that evil. If they are planning to do you good, they eventually do that good. But let us always know that marriage is not a do or die. Okay, I would like it to go smoothly and both parties will be happy. But where it is not working and somebody feels threatened or feels that, look, I can no longer continue to exist in this union, let it be a mutual understanding. You met in love, not in fight. You met because you liked one another, not because there was something. It wasn't a trade-off with money. Okay, my family need money. Oh yeah, we'll give you our daughter. Whenever we get money, we'll return to you, return to us. No, it was out of love. So if you cannot always refer back to that, it will be a problem. And then, if you refer back to that, remember the first time that you met and use that as a yardstick to sort yourself out. It may not work exactly for everybody, but majority of people who try, somehow, they're able to make it and keep moving on and on because we're in a long road in this earth. Thank you for giving me a long opportunity. God bless you all.
Thank you, Mr. KJ. We really appreciate your views. Welcome, Eme and Kandu. Thank you so much for your patience. We're about to round up, so I'll need to give you both just 5 minutes, please. Eme.
I think I don't even know what to say again. I think everything I should have said has already been said by a lot of people here that I simply agree with their submissions from Madam Luke to Mr. KJ to Kene. So I think I have nothing else to really say now. I think I'm short of words. Maybe we should go to Kandu. Yeah, I think that's fine.
Well, thank you so much, Emma, for joining us. We really appreciate your support. We want to use this time to really appreciate you. Thank you so much. Kandu, good evening, sir. Thank you for joining us. Your submission.
Hello, everyone. Thank you all again, ladies. I think you guys are doing a great job as always. I would like to second Mr. MM there. I've heard a lot of good things said by all the people here, and I've seen some of the messages in the back as well. So I know time is of the essence here. But at the end of the day, I think poverty of the mind is the biggest thing. I'm glad Mr. KJ said some of the things he said about that man that owns a dealership. You see, when people are poor in their mind, things become gods to them. I use the example of Mr. Warren Buffett, for example. Excuse me, some 20 years ago, that man was worth over $60 billion. I think he's worth over 80 billion today. He owns 2 companies that manufacture planes, and he doesn't own a single private jet. He has a Cadillac that he drove for 14 years. He didn't have a driver. I don't know if he has one now that he's 90 years old. The man drives himself to work every day. A man that is worth 3 times what Dangote is worth or more. But you see, when people are poor, it's not even the physical poverty. But when you come from a poor mentality, then things become gods to you. Oh, I drive a Mercedes Benz. I drive a G-Wagon. And then those things become their Lord and Master. That is why whether you go and bring somebody from Nigeria or you marry somebody from here, whether they're a nurse or whether they're a lawyer, waiting concern me with your job. I've been with people that were CEOs. It doesn't matter to me what you do, whether you work at Walmart or you run a whole battalion of men. When you come home, and this is not your house, this is our house. When you come home, you're my woman. It doesn't matter how many men are under you at work. So I don't know the death of any one person is a bad thing. I don't know how many nurses in all these different places that they're talking about Nigerian men crying. If it's one too many. But I've been in this country for more than 30 years. I know people that are in the nursing field at all levels of nursing. They never became doctors, they're nurse practitioner, they're this and that have been doing it for more than 25 years. I've never, in Maryland and in Washington, D.C., I've never heard this type of foolishness before. But again, when people are poor, no matter how much money no matter how much physical money they have, they will forever be poor. Again, good job, ladies.
Kandu, are you still talking? We lost you for a second.
Me.
Oh, thank you so much.
Hello?
Yes, Kandu. Can you hear me? Can everyone hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. We can hear you.
I lost Kandu for a second. Kandu, you're on mute.
I think he's gone.
Hear me now?
Yeah, we lost you for
Can
a
you hear me
second.
now?
Yes. Were you done? I thought we just lost you for a second.
Yeah, I was done. I was done.
All right. Thank you so much. Want to thank everyone. Today.
Hold on, Tope. Don't we have to have closing remark?
I thought we're supposed to have closing remark too.
Tonight is on our neck. That's why. Okay, I can take a minute from each person.
Okay. So should I go there?
No, Tope, hold on. I don't know what is going on. I just came back on. We're good to go on. So I don't know I just came back.
Nigeria has a segment. Adama.
I know. No, calm down. Like I said, calm down. Is okay. So please, whoever has the next thing to say, please go ahead and carry. Nigeria will be okay. So please go ahead.
Okay. Just a roundup. I think, like I said earlier, that marriage shouldn't be all about money, whether the man or the wife. It should be about mutual respect and concern for one another, and basically to complement each other. Because if you are basing marriage based on how much you're making, or based on the fact that you were a medical doctor, and for that reason you will not marry somebody that is not a medical doctor, they're all rubbish. Because why? Two most richest people in this country are divorcees. Matter of fact, almost 50% of billionaires in dollars in this US are divorced. So that tells you that it is not about money. So for you, the man that you think you have money more than your wife, you can disrespect her, you can talk to her anyhow, you can beat her up at will. You are heading for divorce. Is there waiting for you. For you, the woman that thinks that you are making chicken money, you were a doctor, you were a pharmacist, you were a nurse. For that reason, you must be on equal level with your husband. You must be equal. You must be, what they call it, put two legs in one trouser. Who are heading for divorce. So it's not about money. You have to know your position as a husband. You have to know your position as a wife. If you don't, if you want to assume the position of the husband, divorce is waiting. If you want to assume the position of a narcissist in the house, divorce is waiting for you. And who is going to suffer it? Both of you are going to suffer it at the end of the day. The children are going to suffer it. Now the question is, how much do you love your children that you want them to suffer because of your stupidity, because of your pride, because of your, what they call it, poverty mentality? Thank you, can do. It's a poverty of the mind. You're making lots more money. You don't have respect for your husband again. You don't have respect for your wife. Good luck with that kind of life. Thank you.
Can I go ahead?
Yes, please. Yes, please,
Yeah,
please go ahead.
yeah. Thank you very much. Everybody has spoken in a way, in reference to this subject we're talking about. We're talking about the reason nurse, are trending. So in my own opinion, it has to be two dimension to it. I mean, some people will just go back to Nigeria to marry, maybe for cultural purpose, because they want somebody they can be equally culturally. Because if they're staying here, they feel like women here so disrespectful and all that kind of things. They want somebody they can control. So it's kind of depends on what you really want. And some of them definitely go back to Nigeria to get somebody they can come here for financial gain. So when things didn't work out that way, then that's where we have the complexity of divorce and all that. I mean, there's divorce in Nigeria, but it's not a prevalence as it is here. But the more advanced people in Nigeria, yeah, the divorce rate in Nigeria is increasing, but not on the local level because um men in Nigeria, most of them, I don't know how many percentage I can afford, I can afford it, are pretty much the breadwinner. So the women, they are pretty much going to, listen to the men, whatever they want to do. So that's where that dimension coming. But in America, it's a different case. Women can equally go more, make more money than men. So just, you wouldn't be able to control them. So that's the different. But anyway, in the final analysis, for you to go back to Nigeria and marry, you need to talk to your partner. Say, hey, be very transparent to them. Say, I'm here. Maybe work what I'm working like. Somebody say some Nigerians here, they come here, they work like CNA. What is CNN anyway? What is that? Anybody can explain to me? Is that a low level nurse or what? What is that?
They are not nurses. They clean shit and take care of
Oh,
use for
is that what they
for
call
people.
caregiver?
Yeah, they just clean shit and do
Oh,
those
okay.
stuff.
So the point I'm trying to make, like everybody has said, sometimes it's not about money. So the point I'm trying to make, if you're gonna go back to Nigeria to marry a nurse or whatever, be very transparent to them and say, okay, this is what you're gonna do, and when you come here, you're gonna be working here, and to support me and everything. And like if everybody's properly said, it can't just bring a nurse or somebody more educated for you than you. You expect that person to be your breadwinner. It doesn't work that way. There's so much that person can take. Sometimes, men are supposed to be the breadwinner, but I mean, in a nutshell, you're supposed to. I can't even father a man go say, I'm going to go get married, knowing that, let's assume something happened one day, your wife is not able to do something, you can't take care of the family. That that has to be a main focus. That if anything happens, you should be able to take care of the family. Then, if you have a wife coming, let's be equal partner in that regard. So, in a nutshell, you have to be very transparent. Okay, to avoid all this problem we are having. In diaphragm. That's all I have to say in that regard. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you so
Um,
much, man of prestige. Adama.
yes, who is next? Man of Prestige just finished speaking, and who is
Ify.
next? Has
Ify.
Ify spoken? Has she given her
No.
final submission?
No.
Ify, are you there?
Mhm.
Yes, go ahead, sis.
I don't have much to say. I think what Candy said earlier, it made a lot of sense. To be honest with you, it's all about. Let me not be disrespectful. Anybody who comes here as a nurse from Nigeria, ndị Igbo na-asị ịbịa ebe a na-amara di gị ọkpa n'ala. It's a poverty mentality. JNN, that person must have come from a very poor family.
Right,
Most
say
of
that
us
again.
that came here studied nurses, and went to nursing school. It just may be because of the job opportunity there. Just like Kandu said, when you people that have money, they don't make noise. It's only people that don't have money. And that's why sometimes social media can be very, very irritating to me. If somebody buy a car, maybe a 2010 car, the person will put it and say a Tia rubber and will be making noise. We will not hear a word, both for nurses or even people back in Nigeria. How many times have you seen all these rich people's kids put up all these things on social media? They don't make noise. People that really have money, they don't make noise. When you have to go to work every day to sustain yourself, you are very poor. So how much more somebody who is living from paycheck to paycheck? It takes just one thing to happen to you, and that will be the end. So, I mean, let us be, very careful, with the way we talk about this issue of people marrying nurses or nurses disrespecting their husband just because the person maybe brought you from Nigeria, and then you feel that that's you can talk to the man anyhow. I don't think it's right, in my own opinion. The essence of us coming here is just because our country is not good. We're here just to, have a better life. But the better life does not mean that we have to disrespect our spouses. In my own opinion, I can't tell you how to run your house. But I think in any marriage, once money becomes an issue, it's time to let that marriage go. Any marriage that always fights because of money, there is a problem. Let that marriage go. Any marriage that the foundation lies in, how much are you making? How much did they pay you? They're not supposed to be paying you this. They're supposed to pay you more. Let that marriage go. I'm telling you, because what is going to happen is that you will consistently fight because of money. Number one thing that breaks up marriage in this country, marriages, is money. Cheating is not even number one. It's always money. What is it about money that I don't understand, especially among us Africans? Let me not say Nigerians, because it happened to, but especially maybe in our own community. What is it about money? How much do we even have? We only have money to pay our bills and have little change to send to people back home. But we are the ones that will make the worst noise or the loudest noise, empty vessels.
Yeah.
So let us be guided.
If I agree with you, thank you for your final submission. And to Nigeria, I just want to tell you we're running late. I stepped out and I told Tokwe that we're going to be running late. And I'm going to the next person. Amy, have you spoken for your final submission? Can you please speak?
Okay. Final submission.
1 minute, Emma. Can you please bring Ed in? He's asking. He's in back.
Yeah, I'll bring him in. I'm bringing him in.
Yeah, thank you. Final submission. All have been said, and as Ify also said, I think that was what I was meant to even contribute actually, that all these things, the foundation of it all is just respect. We just have to respect ourselves. And if you put respect in your decision making, I think one way or the other, you'll be guided to the kind of woman or man you're going to marry. It will also make you to even at least have a kind of nudge, a kind of inner guiding, like, oh, maybe this is not the right thing to do, or you just be guided by intuition, by knowledge, and all these things all put together. But if you don't even respect yourself, how do you even respect other people? And from there, how can you see the best in other people, or even see the better ones amongst these other people as well? So, but only that you just can't stop human beings. The average human will always be a greedy person. So a lot of people will marry because of transactions, financial gains. A lot of you can't stop it. It has been since time immemorial, and it will continue to be. But hopefully, for people who have labored enough in life to want to live a comfortable, successful, sustaining life, they will make the better decision to marry because they respect themselves. So I would just encourage all of us to have that self-respect for ourselves, encourage our people to continue to respect themselves so that they can make at least decisions that they can accommodate their the shortfalls in case there is. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Emma. Ed, I want to accommodate you. You just came in. Can I have your final summation, please, sir? Thank you.
Thank you, Adama. I think something that ties so closely with what Emma has said is, apart from just respecting yourself, people should be committed to personal development. That's one issue I've seen that kind of makes some marriages lopsided, where one person is actually trying to fulfill their own life aspirations through someone else. You have to be a complete person to really, as in complete in your own self, to be able to really, as in make a good marriage. Not like you are like this kind of person that feels your partner is going to be what fulfills you. Oh, so maybe you're a taxi driver, you want to go to Nigeria to go train a nurse, and you feel like that's what will make your life better. I'm not trying to diss taxi drivers, but even in that, try to be developing yourself, acquire skills so that, again, it helps when the partners really respect themselves and see that drive among each other to develop themselves. I think that's one other issue we have.
Thank you so much, Ed. Tokwe, do you have any final summation before I end the segment? And I'll say mine. Tokwe, what is your final summation?
Well, I just wanted to appreciate everyone for joining us today. As always, we appreciate your support, and see you soon.
And I just want to say thank you to everyone that supported the show. I'm going on vacation for the next 2 weeks, so I'm going to go relax, enjoy myself. And I just want to make sure that you guys, while we're gone, just hold down the floor. Let's keep having the conversation. At the end of the day, we need to be realistic and be honest about what we want in life. Money is not everything. Yes, money is something we need as a necessity to get things done. But at the same time, self-love and above all, I always say love conquers everything. So thank everyone, all our panelists. I'll start with Mr. KJ, Ekene, Eminoko, Ify, man of
Ada, can I go
prestige.
with you?
Ify. Iji $10,000 say ga poima oga kugo bora bora muna ga gawa kwa. Listen, no problem. My ego come up. I have quite handy. Listen, Mr. Kandu, thank you so much. It's been a while, Kandu. Ed, I respect you. Ed, I'm going to have electricity get back to you on that segment you suggested to me. I would like you to be one person that will join Tokwe O and electricity and Ekene. And we have some new things coming up, so stay tuned. We just want to tell you guys we love you. Thank you. And 2 Niger segments is going to be coming on next after this. So please do not log off. The people in the comment section, the after hour party is about to begin. Love you guys. Enjoy your weekend. Thank you.
Bye.
Tó fẹ́ kú torí ẹ̀ o.